Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Fandom. This one's a very important one. This is actually the genesis of Fandom. This is why Fandom was created, believe it or not. Almost a year and a half ago. It's because I knew when Final Fantasy 15 shipped, I wanted to do this show. And I actually contacted Jesse about a year ago to do this show. So he's a year ahead of you guys in prep. I just want to say.
I disagree.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
I think I'm a lifetime ahead of them in prep.
A lifetime.
I've been waiting for this moment my entire life.
Oh, shit.
It's all come to this.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesse has been compiling facts for days about why he thinks his game is the best. Final Fantasy. It's just unbelievable. And he's wrong as well. This is the worst part, but
Well, that's a shame. That's a shame you believe that.
Okay. Well, before we get to the arguing, because there's probably going to be a good amount, let's just go around and introduce yourself and maybe talk a little bit about your first experience with the series that is Final Fantasy. Jesse, we'll save you for last because I'm sure it's going to be super long-winded. Wheat, we'll start with you, as always.
Oh, hi. I'm Wheat. I love Final Fantasy. I'm really curious about how the show's going to go because I've never necessarily been in the boat of like I'm going to argue intensely about what I like or dislike when it comes to Final Fantasy because, frankly, there's a lot to like about Final Fantasy. So either way, I might be playing more of a diplomatic role in today's show, but we'll see because I do feel strongly, I'm assuming JP, that's why you asked me to be on. I like to be passionate about things. So I look forward to being passionate about Final Fantasy today. Thanks for having me.
When did you start? Like, what was your first Final Fantasy? Were you a 4? Were you a 1?
No. I was definitely a Final Fantasy 1. I mean, I grew up in the NES era, so when it came to role-playing games, it was like Dragon's Quest, Final Fantasy, and like that was pretty much it. There were a few sort of like smaller titles, but they were harder to get hands on. I was like maybe 13, 14 at the time. And then obviously was a Super Nintendo kid. So played Final Fantasy II, Final Fantasy III, even fucking played Mystic Quest and that laughable piece of shit.
That's where I started.
There's actually some really interesting stories behind Mystic Quest that we'll talk about later. But yeah, and then from there it was just every Final Fantasy that came out, I was all over. Obviously, PlayStation was in that era too, and those games blew me away. Like I have so much respect for where they were able to take, the franchise. So yeah, and then it's just here we are, 15.
We'll get to that as well. Strippin, I think you represent a pretty common group of people when it comes to Final Fantasy. And we call those guys the people that started with I don't have a name for them. They're the people that started with 7. Yeah, which is kind of a large majority of gamers today that 7 kind of brought them into not only the PSX, but just RPGs in general. So do a quick intro, and then talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah. I was 10. My dad bought a PlayStation home from work and a box of games. And my brothers were trying out all the games. I was like, what's this one? And my dad's like, oh, fucking don't worry about that one. I'm like, no, what is this one? Don't worry about that one. So I snuck downstairs when everyone had gone to sleep, and I tried it, and it was Final Fantasy VII. And it was amazing, and I was hooked. And after that, I went back and played the past Final Fantasies and played the subsequent ones. But yeah, 7 was the gateway drug for me. Into the Final Fantasy universe, so
the gateway drug.
There's a lot of nostalgia surrounding it, I think.
Okay. And then last but not least, Jesse, I think you represent another group, and those are the people that just love 6, that are just totally enamored with 6 and can't see any other game possibly being better than 6.
And I'm talking about just in all of gaming history. Like,
I know.
It's the best game ever made. Yeah, all right. As long as we're on the same page. I have a question for Wheat.
Yeah.
What game are you repping today?
What game am I repping? Are you asking me what my favorite Final Fantasy is?
What is your?
We're starting out with the hard questions. Actually, that's an easy.
I have a theory. I just want to know if it's correct.
I know. I think I know what Wheats is, but it's because we've done a bunch of shows before together, and I'm gonna watch Strippin's and Jesse's face to see them respond in a way that I think is going to be very comical.
This is my guess. This is my guess.
My favorite Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy VIII.
All right,
I fucking nailed it.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Boom.
Yes.
I was gonna guess 9, but
No,
Oh
JP.
God!
That's JP.
I actually will have some words about 9. I'm not a
can I ask
fan.
you, all right. Well, and the first one you played was 1. You said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like you're an aberration and outlier. You're ruining my theory, and I'm not okay with this.
Okay.
My thoughts on this have always been the first Final Fantasy you play usually ends up being the best Final Fantasy.
I would agree with that.
And so for me,
but Final Fantasy
for
1
most
was...
people, for most people though, they didn't play 1, 2, 3. They didn't play 4 or 5 until much later because that didn't exist in the States. And so, and I guess 6 was 3 here. But the idea that like a lot of people didn't play those games, and so technically 6 is the one most people started with when in the SNES era, and then PlayStation's one of the big launch titles was 7. So that was one of the reasons people got a PlayStation, and that blew up. So I feel like 6 and 7, the reason why there's such big fandoms there is because 6 was the one everyone played on SNES, and 7 was one everyone is the reason why people got PlayStations. A lot of people. Yeah, so I feel like those two are the big ones because those were big during that specific console generation.
Because you're slightly older than me, right? So 6 was your game.
Yeah.
And then 7 was my game.
And
so we like this anomaly where he's just
I wanna write down a note to myself. There's a reason why I'm gonna I can tell you why I deviate from your theory, but I don't know if you want to go into it right now, so I'll write it down.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's not my show.
No, I mean we can go into it. I have a sense of how I want to structure this, but I think this is a good place to start.
Okay. Well, let me just say really quickly, because it's something that I will reiterate when it comes to why I like certain things about certain games, is that Final Fantasy 1, it with what it is, obviously when you put it next to any other Final Fantasy, it's like, well, where's the story? There's a lot of like grinding there, like it wasn't even until 2 when we even had like a job system. So it was very like cut and dry like RPG. And from all these games to 3 or 6, as you're saying, like there was a huge technological advancement, and like what you were getting in the story, and like, oh my God, there's mode 7 and they're like fucking airships, and it was like an amazing experience. And then there was another jump when you went to 7. And you got to like see and experience that, which I think is amazing. I would even argue that there's another jump between 8 and 7 that happens. And I think for that reason, I sort of like went further and further. I'll tell you why I like 8 later, but the technological jumps is what took me from the next one to the next one. I can't see anyone ever thinking 1 is the best Final Fantasy, because it's truly, it can't even, it's not even fair to compare it with any other one.
Right.
So.
I played through 1 about 10 months ago, or at least I played through half of 1. I didn't realize that there was so much. I mean, I do now, but there's a lot of D&D in Final Fantasy, like a lot of D&D, especially in Final Fantasy 1. Most of the monsters are ripped directly from the monster manual, which I thought was hilarious. Jesse, you were going to say something.
I think 1 through 5, the vast majority of people go back and play those after they've gotten into like the fandom of Final Fantasy. Yeah. They don't. I've met many people. I think Wheat, you're the first person who was like, you know what? I started with 1. Like most of the people I know have had that. Like they might have played. I'm trying to think if it was 4, that was 2. God, I can't.
4 is 2. Yeah, that's my favorite.
I'm old,
is 4
too, because I played all the fucking Game Boy Final Fantasy games, and like, I mean, it just like. Dude, back then you got so much fucking value for what you paid for those games. So like it was, if you weren't playing them, you were stupid.
Right.
Because you know. But anyway, that's.
Yeah. I just think it's one of those things where, as time goes on, most people find the franchise through other means and then go back and play the others. And so it'll be interesting. I mean, you can definitely see there was a heyday of Final Fantasy where I think that 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it sort of ended with 10.
Yep.
And then we hit the MMORPG, which was 11, which I thought had a cool story, but the mechanics were like
11 was
the worst.
I played the fuck out of 11, but I was an MMO fiend.
I played through that game like crazy, but only because I thought the story was like the way they went through the story I thought was good, and then they sort of went off.
They got crazy.
Yeah, then it went super crazy.
They got real crazy when he got to like sea and shit.
12, unfortunately, was Star Wars. It was basically a retelling of Star Wars.
Yeah, I like 12. A lot of people don't. I love 12.
I think what made 12 so much fun was that the characters were good. I think the story was shit. The characters, though, made that game. The voice acting was good. Like, all that was great. And then 13 is just like...
Wait, are we just like... Is this like Jesse's Quickfire now? What?
I guess he's doing Jesse's Quickfire.
I'm just trying to get through the other ones because I imagine we're only going to talk about 3 games.
Right? Yeah, I think 6, 7, and 8 are probably the ones we'll mostly talk about.
Right.
I think for me, 4 is my favorite.
I really enjoyed 4. 4's in my top 3.
That's where I started. Jesse's comment of the first is always a favorite. That's where I started. And like, I'm gonna. No one else has gone to the moon. It's always been on the same. Fucking 4 goes to the moon. You get a fucking fat chocobo airship and you go to the goddamn moon, and it's the best.
8 went to the moon.
8 went to the moon. I never finished 8. True story. I couldn't get through it.
8 went to super space and was. I have a lot to say about 8, but
I didn't know that 8 went to space. 7
it does.
7 had Sid building the spaceship, right? The rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The smoking, drinking, abusive boyfriend Sid.
Yeah. Yeah. Sid was kind of.
That's why I like 7. 7 was real as fuck. It was way more real than any of the others.
Strongly disagree. It was the least real out of all of them.
No, dude. There's so many
unreal.
Fucking real issues in that game.
6 was literally about teaching. Oh, I'm not. You know what? We'll wait. Wait.
What is this great format, JP? Let's hear it.
Oh no, I said loose.
Right now,
there's no format. We're just gonna shoot the shit. But I think
then
I think before maybe we get to the games, let's just talk broadly and just do like favorites.
Well, I mean,
is
there some merit to talking about like the importance behind the name Final Fantasy and like how the game was even made? Because like I assume you guys at least are aware of the story.
Feel free to tell it.
This was basically, and I'm terrible with names, so forgive me, but the Final Fantasy creators, it was basically his like point of giving up in the games industry. It was like his point of basically being like, you know what, I'm not sure if I like this shit. I can't really make a game that I want to make, so I'm going to make one more game, and this game is called Final Fantasy. And it turns into the fandom that it has today. And so, I mean, I just love that story in and of itself because you don't hear that very often in the gaming world. Maybe a little bit in the indie studios and some of the stories we hear about today. But this guy was truly like all of the stuff that he has essentially created and brought to us. It was at risk of never happening because he was like, I think I'm going to give up. And then he's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll make one more game. Ha ha ha. I'm going to call this Final Fantasy because that's what it probably is going to be. And then the game fucking blows up. And it, sort of redesigns RPGs as they were very popular still in sort of like the Western world and growing in Japan. And I think that story in and of itself is awesome.
If you want, and if you want an additional interesting tidbit about Sakaguchi and those guys, when they left Square, the last game for Wii is a game called The Last Story or Last Story. It's made by them, and it's an RPG. And it's the very last game that ever came out on Wii, which is also kind of cute.
I've played about 4 or 5 hours of that, but I couldn't. I struggled with the Wii controls, so I had to fucking quit. I couldn't do it. I have it somewhere on this shelf behind me though. A lot of people liked it though. But yeah.
And
he was also about to go bankrupt, right? They were like, literally, they went bankrupt with Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, it's one of those things that Square would never admit, but everyone who worked there was like, oh no, we were about to be shut down. Like, we were losing all of our money. And they're like, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine there. But all the people who worked there at the time were like, oh, it was terrible. We were done.
This was their sayonara, and it blew up. It's one of the coolest stories in the gaming industry, I think.
Yeah, you don't hear it very often. And I know like a lot of people may not have gone back and played 2, but I think, or excuse me, 1, but I think Final Fantasy 2 Japanese is actually the one, I believe it's highly regarded in just the Japanese world because of its introduction of the job systems. And it's like a much more advanced way to sort of play the same game. And it kind of redefined and opened up a huge book for like Final Fantasy to follow from that point forward.
And that is why I believe 6 is the best, because it took that book and ripped out every page, and was like,
And
we're not going
rewrote
to
it
do
a
that
little
anymore.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole premise of 6 is that instead of being based off of classes, because up until that point it was about strategy for RPGs was, okay, well, I'm going to this boss fight. Do I take a mage and a warrior, or do I bring 2 white mages and 2 healers? Like, how do I take on this fight? And 6 came in and was like, we're making a game based on 14 characters, and because there's so many characters, it'd be insane to have each of them be a specific class. So as the game goes on, the classes, clearly there's a ninja and there's all these different people at the beginning, but towards the end of the game, you can make them however you want them to be. So you can have healers, and it has to be that way because there are multiple times during the game where you have multiple parties fighting on the same battlefield.
Sure.
And so it's a game that's about characters, not about classes, and it changes the way RPGs up until that point. Like, there's story, but this game is not about the story. It's about the characters and the overarching theme of the game, and how you make it your own story, which I think is really interesting and super genius. And it's what sets the course for all the other Final Fantasies.
One of the well, go ahead,
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, like, what's interesting about what you say, just like, they couldn't have done it before that,
right?
You know, like it's interesting to see the evolution of this series as it is on different platforms, and you know, on this particular platform, like this was the first time they actually had the freedom to do that, right?
Yeah,
I'd agree.
Yeah.
And the reason why they had the freedom is because, for some reason, and I wish I knew why this was the decision, but the decision they made going into it, Sakaguchi and all those guys were like, we want to make a game based on these character designs we've made. And they came up with like 14 characters, and then they built the entire game around that. So instead of being, we want to tell the tale of this knight and his other friend, and they go off on these airship adventures and stuff, like it's we have a story about these 14 characters, and each of them have their own story, and we're going to tie them all together with this. It's super ingenious and super weird that they did it that way. I don't understand why. It's just, it makes the game very different than other RPGs. Like, it's a different experience.
Okay. I think that's a good preamble. We'll come back to that because I think we're going to spend most of the show on that. But I do want to talk about just like some general favorites of the actual series, not the games.
Tactics.
But like, no, like
Tactics
nails it.
Mwah.
Tactics is pretty good.
It is.
Tactics is
phenomenal.
awesome.
It's pretty good.
And Tactics, in my opinion, I don't know, like what was the game before Tactics?
What
6.
No, I mean literally, what was the Tactics game before Tactics?
Oh,
It was Ogre Battle, right?
yeah,
Did-
Ogre
did-
Battle. I think was that before?
think so.
What about Suikoden? Did that, or however you say that, Suikoden? Did that come out before or after? It kind of started all that, I think.
I suppose that maybe
see.
it was Tactics that took everyone else's ideas, turned it into a fucking great way to implement it, and now it seems like everyone kind of uses that formula, if you will.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to the people at Square who, for some reason, made numerous games in that universe. So Tactics, that's Evilis, I guess is the name of that world, is also Vagrant storyline. It's the Final Fantasy XII world.
Yeah.
Like, it's they just kept using it, which is interesting, but it's always in different generations of it.
Right.
So that's good. You can find little Easter eggs and stuff. That might be the only thing in Final Fantasy that is connected to other games.
Which is it. That's an interesting point. I see a lot of
good point.
people that are coming into the stream now and just in general when I'm playing any Final Fantasy game. A lot of people don't like, they'll be like, hey, can I play 15 without playing any of the other games? like, yeah, they're not connected. Like,
Yeah.
you could totally do that. There's no storyline between any of the games at all.
Yeah, there's nothing connecting them.
They always do like nice little. They'll have like odes to other games and
Right,
Easter
of
eggs.
course.
But like you could easily just like absolute tunnel vision past those things.
Which is
That's
one of the
what it
coolest
is.
things too. I love the fact that there's always a Sid for the most part. There's always a Biggs and Wedge. There's always the Cactars. Most of the time, there's always a Moogle. I think was there a Moogle?
Yeah, there's always a Moogle.
There was always a Moogle. Yeah, in some
even
form.
in 12, they weren't like normal Moogles, but they were like townspeople Moogles, where they were little tiny miniature people. There's always a Gilgamesh in some form. There's always all the different summons or espers or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's all callbacks. It's like, I know what this character does because they did the exact same thing in every other game.
Right.
And so that's all it is.
Yeah.
And it lives by the same rules. So you never go into a Final Fantasy and you if you played any Final Fantasy, you know what to expect going into another one. So you know a fire spell is going to kill a plant. You know, if it's a water elemental, you can lightning it. Or if it's a robot, you can lightning its ass.
Yeah.
Like there's different things you can do that you know will work just because that's the way it's always worked. And so it's like chat's nailing Ultima weapon, right?
There's always Ultima weapons, yeah. Well,
They do like little creative.
Yeah.
Go on, JP.
No, I'm there's different forms of Ultima weapon, right? Like in some games they're just a weapon.
Yeah.
In other games they're like a giant. Like in 6, it's just a weapon. Well, it's a weapon or a summon. Or a
summon, or you can choose the summon instead.
Yeah, and if anyone chose the summon, what the fuck? Go for the fucking weapon every time.
I don't know. The summon's cool. Well,
go for the weapon and get the fucking glove, the Genji glove, so you can have two.
That's what makes it so good.
That's true.
Can we go back to tactics just for 1 second? Because I also want to say I think tactics is by far, MMOs excluded, because is probably the most difficult series of Final Fantasy games. That shit was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, has anyone ever heard oh man, I'm on my 5th run for the Final Fantasy VII end boss. God, I hope I can do it. That's just, you don't hear those stories.
Yeah.
Tactics was fucking hard. Tactics would make me throw my fucking controller and quit the game for 3 days and then come back and then magically see the fucking matrix code and be able to do what I need to do. That game was hard, and there was a lot of grinding. And aside, again, MMOs aside, but aside from 12, I don't think there was another Final Fantasy game that I grinded as hard as Tactics.
It had such an expansive job system too. That,
8 a tiny bit with draws.
I mean, there's different types of
12,
grinding for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grinded 7 real fucking hard.
Because you could grind in 10 there was really stupid grind dodge lightning grinds or that dumb bullshit.
Yeah. Or 7 when you maxed out a material, you create a new one, so you would just grind forever. So you had 3 fucking
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
So this is all over the place, but that's totally fine. What and maybe you guys can help me remember. In 7, to get Knights of the Round Table, you had to have a black chocobo to fly to the island to get it, right?
I totally forgot about this. Yes. Yeah.
Well, you had to
get that for racing.
You had to breed one
in a town, and then it was.
So the only way that I ever saw or would ever have seen Knights of the Round Table in 7 is because I Game Sharked it.
I did
not do it. I did not do it. I did not do it normally.
You'd get the mimic material that was really rare, and then you'd do Knights of the Round, and then you'd get your other characters to mimic the last move done.
Yep.
And so you'd get 3 Knights of the Round.
And it was so annoying to watch over and over.
It was a 5-minute summon.
No way, man. This fucking summon's awesome.
It was
That's
awesome.
actually one of the things I want to talk about. The summons in that era of Final Fantasy.
Chat. Shame him.
Oh, shame me all. Look, I thought I was a legit hacker when I was 13. Be like, I'm gonna hack this game.
Shame him for the Game Sharks.
Can't even get a black chocobo.
The summons.
Gold, I guess, is what it's supposed to be. Whatever.
Yeah,
it's been years.
It has been years. Go ahead.
What these guys were doing on PlayStation 1 was fucking unbelievable, you guys.
It is, yeah.
Unfucking believable. I mean, what they actually accomplished in 7 was crazy, crazy amazing. But if you look at the GF summons from 8 and even not it is some mind-blowing shit to go like, this is the same fucking platform that I'm playing all these games on, and none of them look as amazing or as fucking unbelievable as the shit that I'm looking at. It was insane.
It's always been a graphics pusher.
7 was originally a SNES game too, and they changed their mind.
Oh, at the last second when they got
it was going to be a SNES game, and it was set in New York City.
Interesting.
And the main character was a detective. And then they were like, actually, fuck that. We'll just put it on PlayStation and make it good.
Yeah, that would have been weird.
I'm super interested. Like, go back. If you haven't ever done this, or you're not like a huge Final Fantasy fan, go back, because as we're talking about this, in our memories, we're just like, damn, I remember playing 7 and being blown away by the summons, and like when Sephiroth at the end is just like, have a meteor universe, and it like goes through Pluto and shit, you're like, this is insane. And when you played it, I remember playing it and being like, this is so cool. Go back, look at it again. Go back, look at 8, 9. You're like,
I can't.
Holy shit, these look bad. And it's just because technology has progressed so fast.
It is. It has.
That it's. But you remember it being so amazing visually at the time that it's so weird to think that 8 was 2000, 1999, 2000. So 7 would have been 97 maybe. Like. It doesn't seem that long ago, but holy shit, it was a long time ago.
But I also
it was a long time ago.
They tell a story so well that your imagination like fills in, where like stuff maybe isn't up to par, and you still love it because you're like you're just.
I think you go. I honestly, if you could put yourself back in the era just for a minute, if you ever have actually played a PlayStation 1 game and you know what the gaming of that era was like, because as Jesse mentioned, it was fucking bad when you look at it by comparison today. But when you really do look, if you can go, and I'm sure there's a YouTube video that's just like Final Fantasy 8 summons.
This is 7 summons. This is every summon in 7. Yeah.
I'll
show the difference
like
in a sec.
Dark Messenger from 8 was fucking unbelievable. Like the Eden Eternal Breath, which was also like one that had the fucking earth turning into that giant seal that then like flipped around. And I mean, like,
do you remember Neo Bahamut from 7?
Yeah, they would.
And if the fucking piece of ground lifts up,
they would take a minute to load, you know. But like, what they were thinking about delivering to the fans was just unfucking believable and was beyond anything else anyone was doing. Like during this period in particular, the 7, 8, 9, I was like, these guys are fucking game designing gods.
Yep.
Like there's no one else that is pushing this hardware like these motherfuckers are pushing this hardware. It's just
so much so that like the games came in 4 discs.
That's true. They were one of the first games to start doing that shit.
Because the consoles couldn't fucking handle the games they were making. They had to give you like 4 or 5 discs.
Yeah. I'm curious, can we decide now what everyone's favorite summon is across all the games?
Oh shit.
I mean, Knights of the Round is a pretty simple answer there just because it is maybe maybe not the granddaddy of it, but it's like Knights of the Round's a pretty big deal.
I really liked Odin in 7 because it would change.
That's what's happened right now. Yeah.
Like he didn't always have the spear, I believe.
Yeah.
Odin's a pretty fucking badass summon in any game. Just a badass knight on a 6-legged horse.
Bahamut in 8, his Mega Flare. Because I remember distinctively going like, oh my God, that was it? And then he has this secondary attack that he like fires up and then he like launches. I'm like, oh my God, that is the summon that I wanted him to be. You know, like I remember being so disappointed, but then like, oh yes, that was fucking what I wanted. But Eden Eternal Breath is like,
we'll have to see that. I haven't seen that in a while.
What's the one from 10? It's a hidden summon. Anima? Is that
Anima? Yeah. Seymour summon.
Where it's like a monster and then there's a lady chained under. It's such a bizarre looking summon that
it's
was
creepy as fuck.
By it.
It's real creepy.
It's so weird looking.
10 probably like portrayed them maybe the best for me. 10 did a really fucking good job of making the summons look.
Yeah.
Because obviously like the game is centered around a summoner. So they went that extra mile.
Right.
It just feels so good.
Yeah.
I mean, it was also PS2, so
I think
they took that shit to the next level.
I don't know if I have a specific game for him. Maybe 9 in terms of the actual summon, but I think Alexander might be like my favorite just because of how
Alexander's pretty dope.
like he's pretty fucking cool. Like he's just a
we give
giant
a shout out to
mech.
9 literally has, I think, the first boss, like it's 2 summons fighting each other in that cutscene.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. Like they're destroying a city fighting, which is like the coolest thing I've ever seen up until that point. So like, it's amazing.
There's the bad guy turns Bahamut on the sea, and then she turns her castle into Alexander.
Yeah, it's rad as fuck.
Like gets up and fights him. It's fucking crazy.
I haven't seen a lot of these summons from 7. That's Alexander right there from 7. I think Neo Bahamut's coming up.
There's so many good, like, I know 9 is like one of those games where there's so much good in there. It's just very ridiculous. Like it's a game that if you love it, you love it, but if you hate it, you're like, that's a shitty game. I don't know, but like there's so much to love in that game.
It's true. I 9 for me just comes down to the design. I think it just comes down to like after experiencing 7 and after experiencing 8, like the next logical step. Oh my God, I can't wait for Final Fantasy 9 to come out. It wasn't like there was any, like at that time we were playing some remakes on our fucking PSPs, whatever. But no, not yet. But you were waiting for 9. There was nothing else, right? And I was a little disappointed just overall, and like I feel like
you didn't like the characters or.
I liked the characters. I didn't like the design. I didn't like how they went from, the very techie, steampunky worlds of 7 and 8, and then went to like a more magic-dominated, almost cartoony sort of representation of the worlds.
I think I like
where they were like first discovering steam power.
I think like, by that time I don't know if I knew it yet, but I think I was actually like tired of the techiness of 7 and 8, and so like 9 was refreshing in that sense for me, where it was kind of just like old school, no bullshit, like a magical fantasy world without machines for the most part. I mean, they had machines in it, but they weren't the 7 machines, right? Or they weren't the 8 machines.
Yeah.
But I could see where you're coming from for sure, Wheat.
It's more the characters than it is the world, you guys. Like
you think?
They
were a little bit. They were. I kind of feel like they were going for more.
I like my effeminate fucking lead characters in Final Fantasy games, and that's like not what I got with 9.
I feel like they were being more cartoony.
Technically, you did. I mean, I remember.
I forgot about this.
Main villain. The entire time, I'm like, damn, this chick is super badass and evil. And in the end, you find out that they literally are just like non-gendered beings. Like it's such a bizarre, like the end of that.
You're talking about Kuja?
Yeah. Kuja, when she first showed up, I was like, damn, Kuja's awesome. And then at the end, they're like, they don't have any genitals. I was like, say what? Like, it's such a bizarre like thing. I was like, oh, so okay. I was like, all right, I guess Kuja's cool. I mean, everything in that game it's very like not only nostalgic but also slowly bordering into like very Japanese in the way that it's done. It's an interesting game. I think there's a lot of moments in the game that definitely make it very memorable. Like when they're flying into Memoria at the end and all the silver dragons are like pouring out of it and it looks like they're going to be totally screwed. And then Sid's fleet shows up. And then Beatrix's fleet shows up. And everyone, like, saves them. It's, like, there's amazing scenes in that game. But overall, it's a very, like, hodgepodge of ideas. Yeah. There's a little, like, Vivi, who may be the most iconic character from the game.
I would agree with that, yeah.
But, like, Vivi, his story is great. But it's set in a world that's not his story. So, like, it seems very cartoony and happy and weird, but Vivi is a little tiny kid mage whose entire plotline revolves around death.
Yep.
And so it's such a bizarre, like it's a weird amalgamation of ideas that don't really connect, but it's a cool game.
I think that might be one of my favorite, like just storylines within a Final Fantasy game is the Vivi storyline, because it was so fucking creepy, but also it was really well done. Like, I actually cared about Vivi more than any other character in that game.
Right.
And it was so fucked up. Like, his being basically was just such a tragic story. That was one of the maybe some in 6 that I would put a little bit higher, but like, it was really good. I thought he was one of the best characters, if not the best character from 9.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Except for maybe what was the guy with the tongue in 9? Because that guy was just funny.
Oh, the cook.
Oh,
Oh
the
my
cook.
God, what was his name?
Queena?
Yes.
Queena.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Queena was kind of hilarious.
I mean, doesn't it
But
say a lot
Queena was
about
the same as Vivi's grandpa, so like they were kind of tied in.
That's true. It's true. What was that?
Doesn't it say a lot about the game when a secondary character is more interesting than the lead character?
But to be
what's
honest,
happening with them?
To be honest, 9 did that. For me, Auron is so much better than Titus. I was so much more interested.
Many of the characters are better than.
If you go to 12,
well, right? But I don't think anyone's arguing that 10 is good either. So.
Well, no, but I'm saying like it kind of hit a. That became normal in Final Fantasy games, where the main character wasn't the coolest character.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, because like even if you go to 12, like Vaughn is the fucking worst, most blandest character in probably all of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But if you look like someone like Fran or Balthier, who are just like fucking one of the best, like they're really well written.
You mean Han Solo and Sexy Chewbacca?
Yeah, I do.
Best characters in
I
the
do exactly mean that.
That's what they were, and I don't care because they were great.
They were great.
They were 2 great characters.
There's a theory that when I was replaying 12 like 6 or 8 months ago, that Balthier is actually the main character of the game, and I would totally believe that.
If you, I mean, I guess we can talk spoilers. I mean, most of the plot revolves around his family, so like, yeah, I would agree.
Here's all your summons for 8. You can bask in the nostalgia.
Yeah.
I haven't seen these.
Make sure you watch for the one which starts with the big dripping black orb.
Oh, this is all of them. This is 11 minutes long.
Yeah.
This
Dude,
will have
I remember I was just watching the Knights of the Round as we were talking, and it went on for like 4 minutes.
It went on forever.
It was amazing.
You remember how long that shit took to load, you guys?
Yeah,
like,
it took for fucking ever.
Hey, brother,
it took for fucking ever.
Because like your guy like winds up, he does like the arm poses, and then the flash comes up, and then the screen fades, and then it's
you
just
wait,
like,
and then you wait, and it's like, okay, guys, only about another minute and a half, and then it'll be.
You make a sandwich, you come back, and then the nights start.
Yeah.
That's good shit.
I guess these aren't in order of obtaining them, but do we need? We haven't mentioned 13. No one's talked about 13 yet.
Thank God.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like it. I don't. It's not
why.
Final Fantasy to me. It's something else
agree.
entirely.
It's just I remember like and this happened with 12 for me too, but the hype leading into that game was so high. And was so fucking real for me. And then it came out, and I was so disappointed. And I think that spoke to a lot. Like, I think that's a similar story for so many people, where it just didn't get there for me.
Like, the minute I knew I wasn't gonna like 13 was in the first minutes of the game, when the opening is like, long ago, the Falsey and I'm like, who the hell are these people?
They start dropping jargon before the game even starts. Yeah.
Yes, it's like
I don't even know how to pronounce this shit.
Yeah, it's the beginning of a bad movie that you know is going to be bad, except it's a game and it's 45 hours of gameplay, and you're like, what is happening? And you don't get answers to that until halfway through the game.
Yeah, until you meet what was the girl's name?
Vanille.
Lightning?
Something, I don't know.
No. It was the actual Fang. Fang. She was the only cool character in the entire game. Yeah.
I call your intro, Jesse, and I raise you with the moment I knew that this game was going to be bad is when they said it was also going to be available on Xbox.
Really?
Damn.
No lies.
Wow.
No lies. Because here I was, growing up with Final Fantasy, and I was like, yo, like PlayStation and Square Enix are a match made in heaven. Whatever these guys are doing, everything they're doing is right, And
They have, like,
when I
no
heard that
fear with their
news,
exclusives.
yeah, When I heard that news, I remember saying, "Oh my God, this game's going to be fucking garbage."
When they're worried that it might sell so bad that they have to like extend that.
I mean, I don't know if
invitation
they're
to,
worried
like, the
about it
rival.
selling so bad. It's they were trying to get on as many platforms as possible. But it was the first
There's
deviation.
Dark Passage.
Dark Passage.
Let's just remember there's a scene where a chocobo stops an older man from staring at a younger girl's butt as they climb a mountain.
It went
That's part of Final
full.
Fantasy 13.
It went full anime. I feel like
It is-
13 went full anime.
There's and then like 13-2 and 13 like there's like sexy chocobo girls. Like it's
Chocobo Lena is
enough.
the worst character in Final Fantasy history.
I cannot even it's just not Final Fantasy. It's a different it's a bizarre reinterpretation of Final Fantasy.
The people
that is
I know who
not-
love 13 are like
Who?
people that hadn't played any other Final Fantasy before they played 13.
Right.
And people that really like anime. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
hard
you're right.
pressed to find someone outside of those two groups that is like, yeah, I really enjoyed 13 when they have like everything else available to them.
Yeah, it's so interesting too because I feel like, at least for me, as 13 came out, I was pretty disappointed. 13.2 came out, and I was like, all right, maybe they've fixed it. Maybe they've done it right. Nope. I think most people would say that 13.2 was better than 13 in an actual gameplay sense. I still hated it. And then the fucking 13.3 came out. I don't want to get Jesse started on this. Go watch his rant if you want his full opinions on it. But 13.3 came out, and it's just... I'd rather play 10.2 over 13.3. Like, it is just fucking...
Yeah.
Oh
It
my
is
god, I forgot
fucking-
about 10. You're all singers
at
and
that
you're
dude,
all
we
like
do.
About
aggressive?
10-2.
Yeah, 10.2's intro is one of the best
The
intros of Final
chick flick
Fantasy.
adventure, it's fucking great.
What can I do for you?
A lot of people like the combat system in 10.2 as well.
What can I do for you?
Here's the thing, 10-2
Oh.
is basically the combat system of 5.
Really?
I mean,
I didn't know.
essentially,
Yeah, switching out it like right in the middle of battles, and yeah,
it's 10-2 is not a bad game mechanically. Here's the perfect example. 10-2 is like World of Final Fantasy. If it just came out, if you haven't played it yet,
It's pretty
give
good.
it a shot. World of Final Fantasy mechanically is a ton of fun. Story-wise, character-wise, you're like, oh my god, I wish there was just a way to never go through this again.
there's Alexander.
Yeah, this Alexander's pretty cool, man. He comes over the fucking mountains. I like how he's just like such a big piece of shit that he moves 2 steps and then opens his fucking missiles and just lets them go.
Damn right.
Like he's like, fuck it, I'm done walking. I'm just gonna shoot missile lights out of you, and then you're gonna die.
My favorite part is that was used on like a bug.
Yeah,
Like that. It's
that
like,
giant nuke.
Like a
take that
grasshopper.
bug.
Yeah, fuck.
So,
I haven't seen Doom Train either.
we all kind of agreed that Final Fantasy 13 was, bad.
They missed the mark.
It was
So
definitely
why
not
they
their
make
best.
a sequel, you guys?
Didn't it sell like?
Yeah, the
how
first one-
did it sell? It probably sold really well.
I think this goes back to this is something that you see with Nintendo all the time. No one gave a shit what we thought about it. Like people in the States and like in the West, in Japan, Final Fantasy 13, people loved Lightning. She was like, she's rated as one of the most popular Final
She is,
Fantasy
yeah.
characters ever. Like
Yeah.
in Japan, they love Lightning. The rest of the world's like, I can't stand this character. Japan loved her. That's why she's like on
Didn't they do it as like a
handbag
fucking
ads.
yeah, like a fashion model and shit?
Yeah. So the rest of the world doesn't matter. In Japan, they love her. So that's why they made those games.
How many did
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 13-2 sell?
I don't know. I don't know how well
Let's
they
look.
did.
Because I mean, I get it,
I also
right?
feel-
a business like they
I mean,
sold
yeah,
a lot.
on the-
Make another one.
on the business front, there's probably a lot to be said about making a AAA game even then, and especially now. I mean, there's a reason that 15 took 10 years to get out. It's fucking really hard. It takes a shit ton amount of resources, both money and time, and just people working on it. So I feel like the reason they made so many 13s is because they just wanted to reuse the engine because they spent so much
Also-
time on that engine.
Wasn't this going to be a 13 game to begin with?
This
so
is
they
going to be
changed everything?
this is going to be Final Fantasy 13 Versus, and they
Yeah.
spun it into 15 and made a new engine.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when
So 2.6 million copies
really
to the 5.3 million copies of the first game, which
Okay.
we were the 2 million. right? We were
Yeah.
the 2 million that were like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck your sequel.
Yeah.
We'll wait for the next one.
Yeah.
To this day, I have never beaten Final Fantasy 13. I got to that area that's like, in every Final Fantasy game where it's like, it's open world, go have fun in this one big giant area.
The first
I got there,
fun part of the game.
got to a boss and couldn't beat him and was like, I guess I could go level up. Went to go backtrack and it wouldn't let me out. So I was stuck in a hallway and I couldn't go back to level up more. And I literally was just like, I can't beat this guy.
That
So
was
I
like
tried.
the main complaint was like the game is so fucking linear.
Yeah, it was
and then
hallway game.
when they asked like Toriyama about it, he was like, we didn't intend for this game to ever be an RPG. We wanted to make a new kind of game. But like because it was called 13, that's why everyone fucking hates it. Because they didn't follow the same like tried and true and tested plan. They were making a different game entirely, and they just named it Final Fantasy 13. It's just like a fucking, you're just on rails and you just go through.
Yeah. Yeah, it was I don't know. I think that's why if and we'll probably spend a good amount of time talking about 15 towards the end, but I think that's why you see so much hesitation and volatile comments when it comes to 15, because so many people were burned so bad by 13 that they're really reluctant to give any more money into something that they're not sure.
Yeah, and I think the thing that makes it even worse is that 13 was bad. And I guess I can say, like, not everyone, but a lot of people thought 13 was bad. Then they released 2 more, and so we haven't had any new Final Fantasy content till 14 came out. So you were dealing with the same thing, and it was like them shoving it in your face, like, love this, you should love it, why don't you love it? And I think everyone's scared about 15 sucking, but you also have to remember, before 13 existed, they had a track record for success.
They did.
There was something in every single one of the games that you could love, and it wasn't until they started switching things up and like having new people run the show that they sort of went off the rails. With 15, they brought people back and were like, please fix this for us.
Yeah, they did.
So there's hope there. There's hope. It's a good game.
Yeah.
And
we'll see. We'll see. I do want to get back to the idea of favorites, though. Can we decide on a favorite, like, villain or antagonist? Or is that going to tie into favorite game as well? Like, I feel like you've got strong contenders.
Actually, despite what my favorites are, I think that there's like some like there's a clear winner in the villain category.
I feel that way as well.
Sephiroth is.
Oh, you were saying Sephiroth,
No,
but I thought Kefka
I'm saying he's good, but there's also Kefka. Like, Kefka's one of the best.
Yeah, Kefka's.
I'm going to put this out there, and I will simply say this. Sephiroth is a fantastic final boss. I think he stands for the themes of Final Fantasy VII, but he's not a good villain because he's not there. He's not a presence in the story as much as Shinra is. Shinra is like these baddies throughout the entire game. Sephiroth is like this amazing final boss. The point of, and this is something actually, because I did a lot of research on this to figure out how 6 was developed, because I'm a giant nerd. When they created 6 based around 14 characters, they realized you're not going to pick every one of these characters to play with. So we need to have someone else be the central character of this game. And so they created Kefka, and Kefka is a villain who the entire narrative operates around.
Yeah.
So Kefka is involved in every character's storyline. He is involved in every plot point throughout the game. Everything that you as a player feel is responsible, like he's responsible for it. And more importantly, out of all the dialogue in the game, except for Edgar, Sabin, and Locke, he has the most dialogue of all the characters.
Right.
So he's a villain who is in your face the entire time. And he's not a villain because he is like, he's corrupted by Shinra and goes crazy, or he is like controlled by this otherworldly Genova mother. Like, he's a villain because, fuck it, I just am a bad man. And I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
He thinks existence, he thinks the world, he thinks the world is pointless. Like, life is pointless because everything ends anyway, so why the fuck do this? And to prove his point, something no other villain in the history of many video games, he literally ends the world.
Yeah, that's the thing, is he actually reaches his goal. He ends the world.
He wins. Like, halfway through the game, he wins. And that's why the point of the game, like the overall arcing theme of the game, is that it's not about the story, it's about hope. Like, the moral of 6 is like, even though the bad guy has fucked everyone and destroyed the world, it's all about like, these characters realizing like there's still something left to fight for, which is why he's such an amazing villain. Because even in the end, the final boss fight is like a multi-tiered. He doesn't, except for the intro, which he's like, "Why are you guys here to fight me?" Everything about what he does is like that final boss fight. Even though Sephiroth's song is like notorious and amazing,
One Wing Angel's probably the best piece of music
Right.
written in Final Fantasy, I would think.
Kefka's Dancing Mad theme is literally,
I think,
a like an ode to everything that he has done in the game, and in the end resolves in the fact like most games, like take Sephiroth's battle for example, it starts out orchestral and then gets into crazy chanting. Kefka starts with crazy stuff and then at the end becomes very sad, and the reason why is because it's literally he realizes he's lost and is throwing a temper tantrum and gives like lets you kill him because fuck it, because this world sucks. Like it's such a bizarre game, and it's fantastic. Like he's such a good bag.
As a diehard 7, I'm like Kefka is a better villain. I feel like Sephiroth's he's more of an anti-hero that opposes your party. Like he just has like he has a skewed perception of morality, like, but like he's just there to be like anti-Cloud.
I will say though,
and the element of mystery around him is what draws people to him to be like, he's so fucking cool because he's got like this theme tune and he's so fucking mysterious and you know all this stuff, but he's not really like a villain per se, like a super villain.
The Shinra guys are the villains. Reno, Rude, Rufus, like all those guys. Those are the villains. Sephiroth is this like force, this wall of darkness that's impending doom upon the world. He's the meteor story. Like the reason why people care about him as a villain so much and think he's the best is because the end of Disc 1. That's literally the reason why everyone thinks he's amazing is because the end of Disc 1, when it like literally changes.
Are you refusing to say what actually happens, or are you just saying the end of Disc 1?
Oh, I think everyone is. He literally stabs Aerith to death, and it's a major scene in the game, which is like, oh shit! Like the characters we start with.
True bit of information. She was never supposed to die, and Sephiroth was going to be her lover.
What?
But Sakaguchi's mother died while they were making the game, and he decided he wanted to tell a story of loss and how people like go on like with them in their memory, and so he killed her off, and then like created Zack as like her lover, and Zack was originally going to be Cloud because they want slick back hair, black hair is like way cheaper on polygons.
Interesting.
And they decided to make Cloud, and then they had like this character that was like slick back hair, and they were like, well, we'll make him Aerith's lover. Sephiroth's just going to be something else. Cloud's going to be this thing. And so like there was so many turns in development of this game that like Sephiroth never really like kind of like had the story they intended for him.
That's also something that's interesting. Speaking of Sephiroth, it's technically not even him who does all this stuff.
Yeah, it's true. He's a puppet essentially.
Yeah, like Sephiroth, the one that we like, the crazy one, is already dead by the time we see the story. Well, dead by the time we see the story.
Yeah.
Like by the time we're in it, it's not even him. It's like it's such a weird. It's very metaphysical. That storyline, like the life force. It's an interesting story, but it's super metaphysical. There's a lot in that story that by the end of it, you're just like, did the planet just save itself? Like what is happening right now?
Yeah, it kind of did. It kind of did.
That's why I'm drawn to 7 though, because it's like this guy's pouring his emotion of loss into a game to try and like help him cope, and then I feel like that's why 7 for me is my favorite. It comes off as like it's just an emotional roller coaster. Way more so than I felt with.
And maybe it was because of the age that I played 7, but no other Final Fantasy has had a scarier, like the themes and the music revolved around Jenova, and the art evolved around Jenova and Sephiroth. Fucking terrified me. I couldn't play that game at night because the fucking Jenova song would start up, and I'd be like, nope. No,
and he's like essentially carrying around like a rotted corpse that's whispering to him.
Yeah,
and just
it's fucked up, man.
Everyone he comes across, and there's like
13-year-old JP wasn't having any of that, man.
Yeah,
man, I was like 20. So
you were like 20. You're probably like, this is dumb as fuck.
I guess. Yeah, I guess Jenova then would be the bad. Jenova's the main bad guy then. It wouldn't be Shinra. Shinra's just like in the way.
Yeah.
I will say this about Final Fantasy VII. That's the first game I think I ever played where I had that like, oh shit, this is much bigger than I thought it was moment. because I was convinced it was all going to take place in Midgar. I was convinced of that.
Oh,
And the
that's true.
Oh, yeah.
That
The
moment
minute you
was
like ride off the
incredible.
motorcycle, I was like, get the fuck out.
No, that moment
Like,
was
This
incredible.
place is huge.
Yeah.
The second that happens, because you're like what? Most first playthroughs are about 7 to 10 hours in the game. You leave Midgard and then you realize that like, nope, you're going out. You're just gonna be able to go out of this fucking town. And Midgard seemed so massive at the time, and it was
like
one
of those
so
things where
minuscule.
I think everyone, at least this is how I thought of it when I played the game. I was like, oh, well, since it's so graphically heavy, of course we're going to have to be confined to this tiny area. That makes perfect sense. And the minute they were just like, no, that's not how we play on PlayStation, I was like, what? It's an amazing moment. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's a pretty good moment. It's a pretty good moment.
Please insert disc 2.
Yeah.
And then you're just like,
Yeah.
you're fucking fumbling around for it. You don't know where it is because you didn't think you'd ever need it.
Another, and this might actually be harder for you guys to. It might be. I don't know. What's the most underrated Final Fantasy game?
I think 4.
I think 8.
DJ, we
I
would
think
probably
8
agree
is.
with you.
I can
think-
understand 8 because 8 gets so much like negative press for no reason.
A lot of people
I think it's
just
because it's a
dislike
love
8,
story.
yeah.
People just don't like the fact that it's about two characters falling in love. The game, like
Yeah.
people are just like, ugh, I don't. But it has some amazing combat. The mini game in it is phenomenal. The story
I'm
is
just
really
gonna let
good.
Jesse sell why I love 8 so much. Like, yes.
Look, there's
it's totally
problems with
true.
it. There's
we
problems
take
with
it
it.
over.
Don't get me
Take it away.
started. There's problems
us,
with
we-
it, but
No. We could say, but I agree. I think 8 is underrated for many of those reasons. And like honestly, I would still say that I think Tactics is underrated. Like I think there's a lot of Final Fantasy plans. I think there's a lot of Final Fantasy fans that have never touched Tactics, and it's fucking shame.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of Final Fantasy fans that say they played Tactics and never have because it's the cool thing to say you've played. I'm
Yeah.
convinced of that. Like
About
That might be
3 times
true.
a year.
Tactics was like the Dark Souls of this franchise.
It really
right?
was.
Like,
Yeah. It was so
like,
fucking
fuck-
hard.
Yeah.
It is.
That I remember the
times a
first time
year.
I played Tactics, I died in like the first or second encounter that you get into, and I put the game down for a good chunk of time, and then came back to it when I was a little bit older and understood the system a little bit better. Because that came out in like what 97, I think. So I was 10 years old probably when that game came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a harder game for sure. It was a harder game for sure.
About,
did anyone
about 3
play-
times a year. Go on, wait.
Oh, well, did anyone ever like play? I don't think they remade the Legends games ever, but they had Final Fantasy Legends 1 and 2 for the Game Boy.
I remember those. I never played them, I don't think, though.
At the end of I don't know if it was 1 or 2, but you literally fight God. And I remember just having to grind probably 10 to 12 hours to be able to just so I could fight through a single attack that he had and then finally beat him. Not underrated by any means, but it's just like it was the tried and true Final Fantasy experience.
What about Crystal Chronicles though?
whoa.
Get the fuck out of here.
What about Chocobo Adventures and stuff like that?
Oh god.
Chocobo Dungeon, stuff like that.
Chocobo Dungeon. That's true. Yeah.
So someone mentioned Mystic Quest. Can we just
I played
you guys
Mystic
know
Quest.
the
I didn't
story
beat
behind
it.
Mystic Quest?
I don't.
don't.
I know. I played it, and my brother got really upset because he said it was a terrible game, so I stopped.
Do you know how long it could take? How long it would take to beat Mystic Quest?
A couple hours.
Yeah, a couple hours.
Yeah.
Literally, the game was made because the Japanese thought that we were all fucking stupid.
Yeah. I've heard this before. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're like, we need to ease them into RPGs, and Mystic Quest is the way to do it. And I think more people were just I'm fucking insult. Do you know that we've been playing Ultima for the last 12 fucking years on our your shit is actually weak by comparison. So step your fucking game up. Of course, then 3, right, is what they deliver after that.
Yeah.
But it's so bizarre that I remember sitting there watching the title screen going this has to be a fucking joke. Like, this is the most epic troll that anyone has ever, because there's no way that this role-playing game, which I'm like, I just bought for $40 and I'm expecting to give me like 40 hours of gameplay, and it's over in 6, and I'm like, what the fuck? Not okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what happened with 13, man.
You think?
Yeah, I think they were like, oh, well, we have to appeal to the right audience to bring it back.
I think they went the let's appeal just to Japan, like F everyone else.
Really?
I think that's the way they went with it. Yeah, for 13, definitely.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Crisis
Another.
Core was.
Yeah, I was familiar with Crisis Core, but Crisis Core came out on the PSP or PSP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think later on the Vita or something like that. I never played it. I watched a bunch of playthroughs of it. And it was definitely a game that was like, hey, remember 7? No, that was Dirge of Cerberus. That was Crisis Core 7 as well.
Oh my god. Yeah. Crisis
okay,
Core was the Zack storyline.
Oh, that's right.
Dirge of
Okay.
Cerberus was the
Vincent storyline.
Vincent storyline.
That's right.
Which
Yeah.
here's the thing, Dirge of Cerberus, pretty awful mechanically. The story was so silly, it was tons of fun. Like, you literally like, there's a J-Rock singer who's like, I'm the bad. It's so bizarre and weird. It's super fun.
They had before Crisis 2, which was like an episodic game that led into Dirge of Cerberus, and it was like 24 monthly like little game episodes.
That's
it was so weird.
That's such a weird release. Yeah. Yeah.
But like, I mean, this is why 7 is like the only one that's created all these like spin-off titles.
Well, the reason it did that is because
Spin-off
everyone
titles,
has the biggest
fucking
hard-on for 7.
movies. I'm
So it was
saying
like-
that's what I'm saying. It's the best fucking one. Like undeniably.
Oh my god.
Well, before we get to
undeniably.
that, we'll have our time to give our. I think I'm going to give each person like 4 or 5 minutes to talk about their game, and then that's how we'll do
I'm
it.
just saying, the Kardashians have spin-offs too. It doesn't mean it's good.
Boom. Boom.
Yes.
Yes. What about so? There's a lot of reoccurring monsters throughout all the games. What's the favorite one, and why is it the Tonberry?
I was about to say the fucking Tomberry.
Tonberry's the best.
Everyone.
I was at a Halloween party
Tomberry is
a couple of weeks ago,
rewards,
and there was
man.
a girl dressed as a Tomberry with a knife and a lantern.
Don't
I
fucking
lost
go
my
near
mind.
it, dude. I remember
I
the
was
first
like-
time I saw the Tonberry in a game, and I was like, "Oh my god, that thing's so cute." And then he fucking killed me. He just went up and stabbed me, and I was dead. It was
Dude, that
the
shit
worst.
in Final Fantasy VII was terrifying. I'd get into a fight with one, and then you just see all the characters like trying to sprint away from the fight immediately. You're just holding the buttons down.
Yeah, I mean the Cactar is pretty good. That's. I remember what Cactar's
Marlboro.
Marlboro's
mine.
pretty good. Bad Breath is a
Well,
motherfucker.
only because like that thing will fuck you up.
Well, yeah, Bad Breath is a motherfucker, dude.
Like
I hate that
suddenly
spell.
you're like, I got this fucking weak ass plant that I can probably just totally destroy, and then it's like, oh, I just fucking team wiped me. Awesome.
Yeah, Bad Breath is it's a fucking bitch to deal with, without a
I
doubt.
think, but Behemoths are pretty iconic, right? Behemoths,
they're
however you
yeah,
pronounce it.
but
Yeah.
they're pretty good. But they were never like a challenge. I don't think they were just like big badasses. They were like, oh man, that thing looks cool. I'm gonna attack.
Yeah,
it
they would always start as a boss fight and then immediately just become a normal enemy.
An enemy?
Yeah.
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 I'm trying to think back to some other stuff that.
Giant turtles in Final Fantasy 11
Yeah, those
They can
things
go
are.
Oh, F
fuck
those things.
themselves.
Those giant turtles are returned in 14. They're not as bad though. But yeah,
Those giant turtles made me quit that game.
it wasn't the poodles or the crabs. It was the giant turtles.
I'm just gonna tell my story right now.
Okay, do it.
I've told it a million
Let the world
times.
know,
but
we let the world know.
I,
Were
you know,
please
like,
tell me you were like
you
running through
guys,
the
let's
dunes or
just-
something.
the real quickly, right? Like I played Ultima Online, and that was the moment I fell in love with MMOs, right? And ever since that point, I even today I'm still chasing the dragon. I'm trying to find something that will give me that same feeling that fucking Ultima Online gave me, right? So
happen.
I went to EverQuest and World of Warcraft, and when they were like, "Yo, we're making a Final Fantasy MMO," I am like, boom! This is like everything I could have ever wanted. How could this be fucking bad? There's no way this could be bad, right? There's no fucking way it could be bad. And then I'm level 10, and I just leveled up to level 11. And I'm fucking, man, like that was hard just to get to level 11, you guys. Like,
Yeah.
fuck. Playing with my wife, and all right, well, let's try to take on these fucking turtles here that we've been grinding, and we're grinding some fucking turtles, and all of a sudden I got fucking killed by a turtle.
Are you in the
and
mines?
It fucking leveled me down. And I was like,
Yep.
good game. I'm out. Peace. Fuck you and your fucking turtles. Fuck.
Oh my god. Level
Fuck
14 on the beach killing crabs. You had to find a
The
party
crab group.
to do it.
Yeah,
Fuck
the crab
it.
groups.
You couldn't. It's a game that
Fuck it.
I think it came out at the wrong time. It came out when they were like just doing Warcraft stuff, where it was like you can do it by yourself. You don't need to always be with people. And this game was like, no, you need to always be with people.
That's why I loved it so much, though. Like 11, I had really good times with 11. Like, I was the guy that would group with all the Japanese players because the Americans sucked and didn't know all the fucking spots. And it was so amazing because I didn't know like, you'd use the auto translation bullshit.
Yeah.
And I would play a bard and I'd fucking run around and play my little MP and HP
Do you
songs.
have it?
Do what? Yeah, exactly.
The like insert name of item, then the weird translation for do you have it?
I told this story during the what was it? During the I think it was the WoW Legion 24-hour stream that I did. So people from the community would know, but I don't think you guys have ever heard it. When I played 11, like I said, I played with mostly Japanese players, if not all Japanese players. And there was a person, and I was like 13 or 14 at this point in time. I was a huge nerd, right? There was a person in the game that was a really good friend of mine called Beautiful Lady, all right? And I thought Beautiful Lady was indeed a beautiful lady. So I'm like, I'm following this person around. She's inviting me to all these groups. We're having a grand old time. I get into a fucking crab group outside Juneau. We're having so much fun. We leveled up in Pugils and fucking Valkyrie. Dude, like we're good friends, okay? We get to, I think we start going to the jungle or something like that when you're in like 20s to 30s.
That's where the romance happens in the jungle.
We go to the jungle. And I think.
Yo, hold up! I'm trying to Google the theme tune to Catfished.
Do
it.
So we get to the jungle, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna use what TeamSpeak probably is what you used back then. I don't know what TeamSpeak, Ventrilo, something like that.
Roger Wilco.
Maybe Roger Wilco, something like
yeah.
that." And I was like, "Well, I don't speak Japanese," and they're like, "Oh, it's okay." I'm like, "What?" And I join. And it's a bunch of white, like probably just white nerd dudes just hanging out. And Beautiful Lady's like, "Hi, I'm Beautiful Lady." And I'm like, oh my God. Hey. And I was never more crushed as a 13 or 14-year-old man.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I remember quitting that game because the Japanese just camped every good fucking drop spot. And I was like, I'm done.
Dude, that's why I was always grouping with them. I love that fucking game. Like, you go into
so frustrating. They would fucking night and day that spot. They would like fucking take shift.
Yeah, no, I played. There were many times where I had the list, and I would be the list keeper for like 20 people that were on the list. They would go to sleep. I'd do like a 12-hour stint in like the caterpillar dungeon or something like that. I'd do a 12-hour stint, and then I would have to manually type out the list to another person who would keep it for the next 12 hours. And then we would keep rotating for like 2 or 3 days till we leveled enough to get out of there. From like 30 to 40 or whatever those levels were. Like 11 was a fucking great game, but it was not.
It was.
It was not casual on any level. It was one of the most hardcore MMOs I've ever played. And Wheat's probably cringing to fuck when I say that because he's played Ultima, but it was a hard ass fucking MMO, and I love that.
It was different. It was much different.
Crawler's Nest, yeah.
Other folks.
What was the first expansion? I keep trying to remember the name of it. Something. Whatever the first expansion was, the final area of the first expansion had a boss that was this giant weird UFO.
Was that
thing?
in C? I think that was C. It's been so long.
Maybe. Whatever it was this giant weird UFO thing. It took 7 hours to kill this thing, and when you're playing that and you see all your friends, like I just ran 5 raids or like 5 dungeons at the time it took you to do that over in this game called WoW. You're like, all right, I guess I'm going back to WoW. Like it was.
Oh, Rise of the Zillart. No, that's what shipped with it. You're talking about Chains of Promethea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chains of Promethea was. Look, all I will say is the storyline from the first game to Rise of the Zillart to Chains of Promethea. That overarching story was maybe one of my favorite storylines Final Fantasy has ever come up with.
And it was
really good.
It was also awesome, at least in 11, because it wasn't like you could just go and do that by yourself. It took a lot of fucking work to see those cutscenes.
That was the one thing that like I appreciated about the game. I just didn't have the time to dedicate to it. Is that like I had other friends who share similar stories to you, whereas that they would play in the evening and they would just play with Japanese players, and these guys, I mean, were like playing on PS2 as well, which is like fucking insane. I don't even know, but like they that was a lot of the driving like reason behind what they were doing. So I get that. Like I never really got to experience that because I was just like, fuck it, dude. I'm not gonna
making like I went back like 2 weeks ago and looked at Final Fantasy XI for the first time, like making macros, and like the macros that you had in that game could either make you a really good player or you would just be a shit player because of the macros in it. So like that idea of having to seek out the information to make you an actual good player in the game was really cool to me. It wasn't just like, oh, I press 1 and heal. It's like, no, you need to press 1 and also make sure that your party knows that you're casting this and that it's going on this person and not someone else in the group because you have them targeted, because the targeting system was so abysmal in that game and so fucking archaic that you couldn't just click on people. You had to click like F11 or some crazy shit. Like I enjoyed that, but it was because it was so difficult and obtuse in a weird way. But yeah, 11 and 14 are completely different beasts that I don't think can be put into the same space as the other games.
People try to do it, but I think 14 is fucking incredible.
Yeah, 14 is a great game. Yeah, I'm still playing it today.
To have that depth of story in like an MMO is just like in a world of its own. Yeah. Honestly,
that's only gotten better too.
I think that's its biggest problem for me is that it's an MMO. Like had that story, because the story in 14 is fantastic. Had that been just a normal RPG, like I think I'm just like consistently worn down by MMOs where I try a new one, I'm like, well, this was the same experience, and I'm just like, I think the idea of just damage sponge bosses and stuff like that is just too much for me. So the story though, if you're into story's
great.
You can, 14 is phenomenal. Like they really set up something magical there.
Yeah.
But like, how much would one have to invest into that?
So here, perfect example.
A lot of time.
Aurelian is playing 14 for her first time. She's probably put in, I would say 15 to 20 hours so far. And she's level 30. But with 14, you're not racing to level. You're racing to finish the main story quest because you're gonna hit max level no matter what if you just do only the story quest. But if you divert from that path, then you quote fall behind and you get like you'll be level 30. Like she's level 34 doing like level 28 quest right now for the main story. But it's because there's so much. And then once you reach 50, you have like 200 quests to do before you can even move on to the expansion. Granted, these quests are they're all very cool stories. You get to go and do raids. You get to fight like people in Magitech armor and like fucking Bahamut and all this crazy shit. But it's a little bit different than other MMOs. It's kind of a solo experience until some of the dungeons unlock.
So I mean, I've like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I've certainly watched some of the World First from Legion, right? And I've seen some of the fucking crazy shit that they've, how coordinated are the battles by comparison to what I've seen in WoW and like some of these big fights?
I haven't rated, but I'd say more coordinated than WoW, because you're limited to a number of 8 people or 12 in some cases, and it's more dependent on like those 8 people being exactly where they need to be and doing exactly what they need to do, rather than having 20 people where one person can kind of fuck up and someone else will carry their weight at that particular point in time.
I remember the last raid I did. It was a raid group of 8, and then another 2 raid groups of 8. And the 3 raid groups have to fight the boss at the same time, and you have to work with the other 2 raid groups.
I haven't done, so it's like, I haven't raided much in 14, so I can't speak to it
that
too much.
kind of stuff. Like they
wow.
The biggest example that I can give you in relation to WoW is most of the raid fights in 14 are very similar to the dance in Naxxramas. It's a lot of like being in the
I
right
actually
place
know
at the
that
right
one.
time,
Yeah.
and like,
Right.
Yeah.
and if you aren't,
Avoid
you're
these
just
fires.
dead.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you're moving away from like telegraph things on the ground. It's very like if you've seen WildStar, like you know, how it would have like a fucking line. You have to get out of that line.
So wait,
Yeah.
does Final Fantasy 14 have in-game voice?
No.
Damn.
It's rough. And there's also no mods. You cannot. Well, there are mods, but they're not. Square will basically ban you if you
That
like
shit's rough.
promote them.
Because they want it to, they still want it to feel like Final Fantasy, you know. So they're not gonna like, they don't want to introduce those elements.
The main reason, besides that, the main reason is that PS3 support is still there. So when the next expansion comes out, they're actually ending PS3 support, and they might look at like making an API available so people can mod.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Which
That
comes out
makes
next
sense,
summer.
though.
Yeah.
I can, even though that's weeks off, I can get behind it.
Yeah, yeah. Getting back on the track of the main games, what's the best side game in Final Fantasies? And this maybe starts with 7, I guess, because I mean they're kind of
side game.
Yeah, like there's like
There's no question. Triple Triad.
Here's the thing. I would agree with you, except boy did I love Blitzball. Like,
Oh my fucking god!
Hold
Are
on.
you actually
Blitzball
serious?
As someone who played Blitzball when it came out and had just fucking nightmares of Blitzball, and I played the remastered when that came out like a year ago or 2 years ago. Blitzball is the fucking worst thing ever put into Final Fantasy.
I love it.
It is so fucking bad.
Great.
it's so
It's
good.
pretty
I will say this Triple Triad is awesome. Like, there's no denying that it's super fun and really, like, it's a very well-crafted card game.
Yeah.
Triple
Let me
Triad is a
just- let's
game
put
that
it
should
this way.
exist on its own
It
outside
did.
of Final
Didn't it-
Fantasy.
didn't it have its own-
Triple
Sell.
Triad is the reason why Hearthstone exists. Yeah, that's right. I went there. Yeah, that's right. Fuck all y'all. I cannot prove this, but I'm pretty sure about it.
Triple Triad was great.
Triple Triad,
Dude.
so much.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jesse. Go ahead.
I'm trying to think what the one from 9 was, but I can't remember what it was.
I think it was another card game, wasn't it?
It was another
It was
card game. Yeah.
Let's see.
Fuck if I remember the mechanics of it. I don't remember what the mechanics.
Next of it, it had, like,
Tetramaster was
it had it had like arrows, and then the arrows, and then it had a value in the middle, and if
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
there was
value
like a
on the other
square
card-
board, and you
Yeah.
had yeah.
It was Tetramaster, wasn't it?
Tetramaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd have like a card, and it would have like your card is like an up
Tetramaster.
arrow, and then an up left, and then a down.
Yeah,
So
here's
you can,
Tetramaster
you can only
right here.
fight those cards, and then you like put it down, and it would like fight another card and flip to, and it chain reacted. It's extremely it's the most complicated fucking game ever put in another game.
I never jumped
And
into
it's
the
to
card
point
games because
where
of that.
you have to like go to fucking game FAQs just to find out what the fucking values mean. 'Cause they don't tell you. Like you don't
Yeah.
even know what the value on the bottom of the card means unless you like fucking go outside into the real world and look it up.
Wasn't Tetramaster also on, and maybe this was the same with Triple Triad, but didn't they bring this to phones in some way?
I have no idea.
I'm sure they would have. I think so.
Yeah. What was 10's side game? That was okay. That was
Blitzball.
Blitzball. Yeah.
Blitzball.
Yeah.
7 had the gold saucer, so the chocobo.
Gold Saucer was
And,
Gold Saucer's
snowboarding.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
all the little
snowboarding.
mini games there.
God.
Jesse, true story about the gold saucer. The in the little scary area where they do like the laughs, they use Kefka's laugh
Yeah.
for all the scary laughs in the
I
gold
didn't know that.
saucer from 5 and 6.
Oh God, I'm starting to think about
don't-
that snowboarding in 7, and that
I
was.
can't believe you showed a Tetramaster, but you didn't show a Triple Triad.
It's because I people are
Damn.
saying they didn't know what it looked like. Here, I'll show a Triple Triad for you.
Okay.
All right.
Triple Triad, yeah, Triple Triad is in the Final Fantasy Portal app apparently.
Oh, okay.
Triple Triad was awesome because like you could totally ignore it, but no one did. But then once you got sucked into it and you found out like how to get all the super powerful cards, that shit was awesome.
Well, you got like the
it was-
summons, right?
That
The
was a
summons
whole
really rough.
nother game. A whole
I have a friend
nother
that
game.
spent
Just-
more time in Triple Triad than they did playing the game.
I mean, the moment that I found out, hey, there's all these super OP fucking cards that you can get. So I was like, I am fucking in, man. Like whatever I got to do, if I got to revert back to old saves
Oh
to
my
like get
God,
certain
look at
cards.
that fat dude. The fat
Uh,
chocobo with the 9/8. It's a pretty good card right
So good.
You can't ever stop Fat Chocobo. It doesn't matter what game.
there, dude. Fat
Chocobo is the winner.
It is.
Oh,
good.
also, this will get you into Final Fantasy 14, but Triple Triad is in Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, in the gold saucer. Yeah, that's right.
And they have tournaments in Final Fantasy 14 for Triple
Really?
Triad.
How do
and
you get
go to the
cards
gold
then?
saucer.
You get cards from killing mobs. They drop.
There's like, you could kill mobs, and then like they have a chance to drop themselves as a Triple Triad card.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very
And
egotistical of those enemies to carry around their
That's
own
not going to
cars.
get me to play the game, unfortunately,
I'm
but
just saying that.
it's still fucking awesome.
Yeah, there was nothing in 6, right? Like there was.
There was the arena.
They had the arena, but
yeah.
that was it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that combo.
It had been a while
That
since.
combo.
And then what about 4? Was there an arena or anything at 4, a Coliseum or anything? It's
don't
been a long
think
time
so.
since I played 4.
Aside from the arena, I think 7 was kind of the first one to be like, hey,
We can
let's
do other
throw
shit.
some neat shit in here, right?
Yeah.
Because they also had the like connected to a lot of that stuff too. Is like the red and the red weapon, the ruby weapon, and shit, and you know, like that was certainly the game to me that went like, let's just stuff so much shit into here
They
because
didn't
we
exist
can.
in the Japanese version. They put those bosses in specifically for the Western market because we were fucking hardcore as shit. And they were like,
Wait,
oh,
what
man.
bosses? The ultimate
I
bosses?
did not know that.
The
the
Omega
Emerald-
weapon
yeah,
and
Oh,
Ruby.
Ruby and
Weapon,
Omega
Ruby weapon.
and Emerald?
Not in the Japanese version of Final Fantasy.
Dude, those fights were fucking real crazy. Like, the Emerald weapon was insane.
The
Emerald
fucking
was tough.
when he quicksands and just randomly fucking takes a teammate, and you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, all right.
No, that was Ruby. Yeah, that was Ruby that did that. Yeah, those fights sucked. Those were, again, Game Shark fights for me. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Those are the fucking
JP
worst.
showing his true
JP.
colors
I
tonight.
remember
yeah.
like
Look, no,
remember, like-
I Game Sharked the fuck out of 7. But it's only because I loved 7 so much that I wanted to see everything.
JP's story of like Game Shark to me drastically differs from mine, where JP's like, I totally used the Game Shark to gain an advantage, where I'm like, I used the Game Shark to like remove the clothes from the girl that got kidnapped in Double Dragon. Like that's what I fucking used the Game Shark for.
You mean in
Like, I don't
Parasite
know
Eve or something?
this shit.
Oh,
Like,
can we
give
can we
myself
shame JP
99
again,
lives
chat,
in Marvel
please?
Madness, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, my God.
Shame JP again. You just keep cheating. I had to fuck. Do
Shame
you know how long
JP.
it took me to get the fucking underwater materia just to
Dude,
fight that prick?
Yeah.
It took
if you're
for
not
fucking
using-
ever. That's why I Game
Not using
Sharked
it for
that shit.
boobs. You're using it wrong, man. I'm just saying.
Look, I was a teenage hacker with the Game Shark, all right? So I was getting
I'm sorry, what?
a teenage hacker with my Game
Did you
Shark.
repeat that? What?
Yeah.
He was a hacker with a 4 and a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I defeated the ruby weapon and the emerald weapon and got Knights of the Round and got a gold and black chocobo and gave myself 99 Knights of the Round materia or some shit. Or I did all the things. It was great.
Dude, I fucking breeding and racing those chocobos was
It was
one
a
of my
nightmare.
favorite things.
It took so fucking long.
Wait,
It was so
wait a
good,
second.
though.
How'd the Game Shark on the place? Oh yeah, add
It
that
was in the
little
back.
fucking
It was
port
like
on
the
back,
serial
right?
port
fucking
back,
stuck
yeah.
on the back. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. See, I didn't have to use
And
that.
you had
shit, so I
to
don't
you had
know.
to enter in like I think they were like hex strings or something like that. In order,
That's amazing.
I copied them down. You would go and buy a fucking monthly press magazine, some book. They would have all the Game Shark codes in the back, and you'd have to type those
Someone
in.
said, JP's a hacker,
Mr.
Dave,
Robot
beautiful lady.
Oh god.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Before we're getting closer to the best Final Fantasy game or the favorite Final Fantasy game. What's the best character or favorite character across all the games? And maybe this ties into it, but who's the best
Wow.
Final Fantasy character? I will go with Cecil. I think he has the coolest story across the course of the game. Because it starts off with like a fucking... He starts off as a bad dude, man. He's a bad hombre in the beginning. And he changes everything towards the course of the game.
Is that we're talking playable character here? Yeah.
Playable, anything. I mean, anything that's not a villain, because we kind of already answered that.
All right.
Shadow's fucking... That guy's a cool motherfucker too, man. I could go with Shadow. But so is...
Shadow's cool.
Cian's cool as shit too.
I really liked Red 13's story. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he was my favorite character.
He was a weird
I just-
character, man. He was
I just
weird.
like the whole shit with like his dad. I thought it was really cool.
It's not Cloud. It can't be Cloud.
No,
It cannot be Cloud.
Yeah,
Cloud
honestly,
was so
like,
vacant.
Yeah, I thought Cloud and even Squall, like my favorite game, like just not. It wasn't him. It was a lot of what was happening around him. And,
Was it
you know,
Cypher? Right? Yeah. Is that name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cypher.
Yeah,
Cypher.
yeah.
I think he was more interesting than Squall.
oh, he's a chode, man.
Auron was pretty fucking dope.
But Auron was like, hey, remember Sephiroth? Well, what if we made him like a good guy and gave him a bigger sword?
No.
He was made for people that like Sephiroth.
Well, I mean, I can't say Sephiroth, so that's the closest fucking thing.
He was made for people that like Sephiroth, without a doubt.
No, I mean we talked a lot about Vivi, and a lot of chat's kind of going nuts about that, and I think we can all agree like
good.
One of the tops.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree with you. I think Auron is.
I'd say
I was
Auron
having a hard
Vivi.
time thinking, like he was kind of like a fucking badass. Yeah.
Oh, fucking Auron. Are you kidding me?
What?
Look, I'm not. He's
his
cool.
outfit was even cool.
He was all right. For some reason, when I think of Auron, I don't think of the Final Fantasy X Auron. I think of the Kingdom Hearts Auron, and I'm really turned off by it. So I can't agree completely with you there.
I really liked
Tifa,
Tifa, and it wasn't for boobs chat, Kappa, I swear.
Tifa was cool.
I thought she was pretty cool.
If we're going by character design, Barrett had a fucking gun on his
and like
arm.
her fucking limit break, like you had to like try and like get the slots to do the combos and shit.
Yeah.
She was it was a cool concept.
Barrett had a gun on his arm, guys. He had a fucking Gatling gun attached to his arm.
Barrett.
He was also the first black character playable in Final Fantasy.
Was he really?
There was a dude, I can't remember who it was. There's like a guy in 6, but like they made his sprite white.
Oh, General Leo is.
Yeah, Leo.
Is
they made
black,
his sprite white.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't. The problem that I have with Final Fantasy is every time I think of a character, it's always their connecting character too. So for me, it would be like
Locke and Cell.
Locke and Cell is.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that.
Or it would be Cloud and Air, like all these different characters are connected.
Noah, right.
Yeah, and so it's hard for me to pick one because then even if you go for side characters, like going back to 6, Sabin and Edgar, but also Sabin and Gao are hilarious together.
Oh, I forgot about but Edgar was cool too, man. He had a chainsaw.
Yeah,
he was like just chainsaw people.
The technology king. And so
he'd fucking just walk out with a drill and shove it in their ear. It was nuts.
Aren't they putting it in Final Fantasy as like an ode to
there's a chainsaw and a bioblaster and some shit like that in 15.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick if I had to pick a character, I think Edgar would be my favorite, in that he's a scientist, inventor, king, womanizer who no one takes seriously and everyone shits on him. It's like, what a great character. I don't know, there's so many, but then Vivi is phenomenal.
Yeah, Vivi's pretty good.
You even if you go into Balthier and Fran are a great couple that there are so many really great characters across all the games that you can understand why everyone would enjoy one of them as their favorite, because and going back to what we were talking about with 7 and like going from 6 to 7 then 7 to 8, I think why people have so many drastic opinions is that none of them are remotely similar. 6 to 7, it's such a different feel and look, and 7 to 8 is an even more different feel and look of the game. 8 to 9, like when we was talking about how he just didn't like the way.
Yeah.
So, but it's something for everyone, so everyone gets their own version of it. And I think going into 13 was the exact same game for 13, 13.2, 13.3, just with like, now they're doing time travel. And I think that pissed people off.
Yeah.
And so the fact that 15 is so drastically different from other Final Fantasies gives me hope that there's something, because you literally are playing 4 friends who are 4 friends at the beginning of the game. You're not party hunting.
Yeah,
and
so, you do get party
right.
members throughout the course of the game, though. There's 1 or 2 that you
right. But you starting as 4 characters who are, instead of being like, I'm character X and I meet character Y and now character Z is joining, it's these 4 friends that have been together long before you see them, so they have a backstory. And it's totally different than anything experienced before, which is like, all right, I'm into this. Let's see where this leads. So,
I like how none of us named a main character as well, which kind of speaks volumes.
Most of the main characters.
Terra's probably the best main character.
But she's not. Like, Terra's not a main character. Like.
Well,
it's because every Final Fantasy game needs its supporting cast.
Yeah.
There is not a Final Fantasy game that lives off of its main character. The supporting cast is as important as the main character, and it's like, to Jesse's point, like matching two people or like those relationships. That's ultimately what I think makes these characters great.
Yeah, well, Cecil's main character.
I think Cecil's the last main character, because 6 was an ensemble cast. 7, even though it was kind of about Cloud, it was about everyone around Cloud reacting to the situation. 8 was Squall was a ... character, at least in the US release.
Yeah.
The minute I found out in Japan he had dialogue, I lost my shit. I was like, what? He actually had a character in Japan.
They like blank slated him so that you would like become him.
Yeah.
Like, by the way, there are some great resources out there that help you fill in a lot of those blanks. So if you are a fan of Final Fantasy VIII like I am,
or Rule 34,
no, people who have gone through and have actually like who love the game as much but have time and are like, here is what actually was said or how this character developed through these scenes, and it's interesting.
Edge was pretty cool. He didn't do much, but Edge was a pretty cool fucking character from 4 as well. I just like the fact that he was like the first ninja in Final Fantasy. But
yeah,
he was pretty cool. Rydia was awesome. Like I enjoy the entire cast of 4. I think seeing Fusoya die at the end was pretty fucking hilarious too. He just turns into a little like mop of a hair man when Golblez kills him. It's pretty good. It's definitely I don't know though. It would be hard to maybe Vivi is the one that everyone could be like, yeah, you got a point. Like that's a pretty good character.
It's a unique character in a game that needed, like, every character in that game is weird and strange in its own way, but it's such a unique character in that it's a little mage that is obsessed with the concept of death because it doesn't understand it. So it's like a kid learning about death for the first time. And it's because it's in a game, and because usually the age you're playing that game is you're like tweens, teens, like slowly entering adulthood. Like when that came out, I think a lot of people were like, holy shit. Like it's an interesting. It stays with you, the character.
Yeah, Vivi is pretty good. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that would like challenge him for a generally agreed upon character.
I mean, look, we all know that Ultros is the greatest character ever created in a video game. I'm just.
He's in. Wait, I think Ultros is in 14. Maybe I'm thinking wrong.
Ultros has been, I don't know why this happened, but for a long time, Ultros was never like, no one gave a shit, and then suddenly had like a resurgence of popularity. So he's definitely in 13, in 14, in Kingsglaive.
He's in the movie.
Dude, he's in Kingsglaive out of fucking nowhere. He's just like...
Yeah. It's so weird. It's so weird.
I haven't watched it yet.
I really hope he pops up in the game.
It's not like that's Ultros. It's like an homage kind of deal.
No, it's look, Kingsglaive. We're gonna talk about Kings.
Dude, I love Kingsglaive. I have nothing bad to say about that movie.
I mean, I
it
enjoyed watching it, but
I really enjoyed
it. Intro to a video game.
You're not wrong. It's a cutscene, and they left out the gameplay because there's a lot of fade to blacks where you're just like, what in the fuck is happening? And they do it in the first 30 minutes. There's fucking fade to blacks after all these amazing cutscenes. There's no tethering of the actual information going on. It's just like, okay.
There was, right? And they were just like, fuck, we need to make this a movie. And then they just fucking took chunks out.
I wouldn't have minded if that played at the beginning of 15, but people wouldn't want to sit there for that long. But yeah. I don't know. I think Vivi wins then. I think Vivi's the...
Yeah. I guess Reno and Rude also count as two interesting characters to follow.
Who?
Those guys were fun.
The Turks from 7.
Oh, the Turks. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were pretty cool.
I'm trying to think back, like...
They're in Crisis Core, right?
They were better in Advent Children, though. Like, that's when I feel like they really shone as a duo.
Yeah. Man, Advent Children, no comment.
I loved it.
There's a couple of great scenes in Advent Children.
Dude, the final fight in Advent Children. Oh, God.
Oh, I didn't even think the final
music
fight.
And shit. Oh.
The final fight or the bridge fight was good, too.
No, the Tifa fight.
Oh, yeah, the Tifa fight
church is fucking top notch. Like, just package that and sell it to me, and I'm good. I thought the rest was...
Yeah. That's pretty good. You know, we didn't mention this in the beginning, but I think one of my favorite parts of Final Fantasy is just the art that comes along with the game. Like, specifically, I mean, there's one artist in mind, obviously, but the idea of just seeing all these different characters in the same art style, and especially how they do a lot of the covers for the most part, is pretty fucking cool. Like, I would put that art all across my room or all across my house if I could find it all.
You know, like I think about a lot of times different series and different franchises and what separates many of them from each other. And when I think about something like Star Wars, you think about how it has an aesthetic that like no one's really like recreated, no one has really emulated, and if they've tried, it's not really worked for them.
Yeah.
And I feel like Final Fantasy sort of exists in that same bubble as that, in that there's a lot of aesthetics, there's a lot of like concepts, whether it be with magic or whether it be with technology, that I've never seen in anything else, whether it's movies or comic books or television or other video games. And I mean, that continuously blows me away, is that even though I might hate 13, there are still things in it where I'm like, God, design-wise and conceptually, some of this stuff is fucking awesome. And like, I don't know why people can't just like make that amazing shit, but there must be some really key individuals, right, who are just like, they're fucking taking mushrooms, they're putting themselves in dark rooms for like 72 hours and then coming out and drawing the first thing that comes to mind. I don't know, but whatever they're doing is just so fucking far above and beyond what I think a lot of people are conceptualizing when it comes to the worlds and concepts and technology. It's pretty mind-blowing.
Even just like this shit, like that, for whatever reason, this image is Final Fantasy VI to me. It encapsulates so much of that game. And I see this and I'm just like, man, Narsh was a pretty cool fucking starting city and like a pretty cool place to go to. Even though this has nothing to do with Narsh for the most part, like this type of shit is just incredible. Like I haven't seen this in quite some time. I think that's from 2 maybe or 3 with the crystals.
But it's also, I think they benefit from the fact that all of their games, every single one of their games draws from things they've created in the past. So they're never without inspiration. So you saw the Magic armor that's been used because it's such an iconic image of Terra sitting atop the Magic. Like they bring it back for other games, and you immediately as a fan know, oh, that's awesome. And if you're new to the game, you're like, holy shit, that's awesome. And so being able to reuse themes and reuse character names and like Sid is always going to be that guy who's going to show up and like, I'm either a playable character or I'm not, but I'm always the nerdy, like older character science guy. Like,
I've always got an airship.
God, look at this. I'd never seen this Vivi that he did. That's fucking incredible. That is like, I need to find
him in, that's his transform in the game.
Yeah.
Is it?
When he has a transform, their outfits change, and that's his transform.
Yeah.
I need to fucking find that and get that printed somewhere. This is I think this is 11 right here. I think.
Yeah, that's the
Rise
Zillart,
like Zillart, yeah. Isn't there a book that you can buy of Amano's artwork or something like that?
Oh God, yeah.
Definitely
There's probably
has to be.
10 of them.
I think they put out one. Is that supposed to be Tifa? Maybe. I'm not sure. That's 6 right there. There's Seltzer.
Yeah, that's Setzer and
Setzer, yeah.
Celis. I can barely see it, but yeah.
Yeah. That's good too, right there. All this shit is incredible.
And I think we talk about the art, but there's obviously a correlation as well with, the music. And not only the fact that we have iconic songs that have appeared time and time again with their own sort of take or approach to, whether that be the fight music or the victory sounds or the chocobo theme, but there are also standalone songs that from the Final Fantasy series, for me, are some of my favorite songs ever.
Yeah. Uematsu is a fucking god.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a straight up god.
I mean, I'm biased because of Final Fantasy VIII, but I think that Liberi Fatali is like one of the greatest songs that's ever come from a Final Fantasy game. It is the one that plays with the accompanying opening FMV and has all the core, the orchestra, as well as the fucking the opera singers.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Eight's
amazing.
intro is pretty amazing with the fight between the two of them. It's they showed that at
And
E3,
Tuesday and
right?
Arkand is like the best thing about 10. Honestly.
It is. No, 100%. I agree with you
like-
100%. That
That's like-
those fucking
that's like
three
the-
piano notes at the beginning, those will always make me think like, oh man, Final Fantasy's pretty good. They immediately make me go there without a doubt.
I remember like his sword like cutting through the sand when they're running each other, and like that image was like stuck with me. And then now they've done it in a bunch of other Final Fantasy games too, but like the specific time I saw in 8 and the opening scene, I was just like, oh
yeah.
shit.
Oh, I mean, even
just
like
things, little things.
When I watch the intro, I remember watching it for the first time with that song and just being like, "Are you actually fucking shitting me right now?" And there is a
They
point
showed
where,
that
like,
at E3, I think.
Renoa, like, oh yeah, like Renoa, I don't even remember. There's something falling down, and then a feather like fucking appears in Renoa's hand, and then the feather like fucking goes up to the sky,
Yeah.
and then there's this flash of light, and then like to the music, the fucking gun blade starts spinning down and just like smacks into the ground.
Here,
And I'm
we're gonna
just
get
like,
claimed. Fuck it, I don't care.
Fucking Goosebump City, man! It's so goddamn awesome.
I think this is it. What?
Yes. No.
Nope, that's
What is-
definitely not it.
That
is
sounds
this?
It's
like
a
a shitty
combination of the
remix
Final
of it.
Fantasy X
Get that
song.
fucking shit out of here.
That was totally what it was supposed to be. It's supposed to start off with like an opera
Nope.
singer, right?
No,
Yes,
that's definitely
it
not
is.
it. That's
Oh.
that's not it though.
Where is this playing from? Oh, that's where it's playing from. Okay.
There it
That's
is.
it. Yeah.
There it is, JP. Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't think we're gonna see this type of stuff in 15, but maybe I'm wrong.
We will.
I've literally played 6 hours of the game already. No spoils. I'm not gonna say a word.
I
There's
kind of
some moments
want
where
you
you'll
to
be
say
like,
a little.
holy shit.
Because it's Final Fantasy, or because it's just something on a PS4?
No, because of Final Fantasy. It has Final Fantasy moments that will blow your mind. Yeah.
That's what I want more than anything.
Yeah.
By the way, it's interesting that like the lyrics to this song and the words on the screen
Yeah.
actually like foreshadow the whole story.
Really? Here's your
I
shit
didn't
where
know,
the fucking
no.
feathers going.
Oh yeah, there it is. The fucking thing goes up the sky. Fucking flash of light. Oh shit, what's coming down? Best weapon in Final Fantasy ever! Boom, motherfucker, the gunblade! Yeah! Fuck yeah!
The gunblade's pretty good.
Gunblade has gotta be fucking one of the best fucking Final Fantasy ever.
With the like iconic lion keyring. The people just go fucking
Also,
lose
can we
this
point
shit
out?
for.
We need to say this now. Final Fantasy VIII is basically Harry Potter. I'm just putting it out there. You literally in this intro are fighting your Draco Malfoy. Except.
I mean, it's not a bad thing.
That's not bad.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying J.K. Rowling stole the idea for Harry Potter from Final Fantasy VIII. It had to
I
be
can
said.
get behind that theory.
It had to be
I
said.
could totally get behind that theory.
God, this is
Yes.
such a good cutscene.
That fucking like come at me shit. Oh.
Yeah. Gunblade is man. What the fuck, dude?
That's pretty
They
good.
even had the mechanic to like hit the button when you're fighting
I don't wanna
to
show
get
the full
extra
thing.
damage, and it is great. It is great.
God, it's like watching this stuff gets me so fucking hyped for 15. It really does. Do we need? I mean, you said Gunblade's one of the best weapons. I'm trying to think of like some other iconic, like The fucking Cloud Sword
You've got Buster Sword. Yeah.
Buster Sword is like pretty
There's
fucking
nothing cool
huge.
about the Buster Sword, though.
It's just
that
it's just kind of
big.
iconic.
This is a fucking blade that's a goddamn gun.
I will say
okay?
though,
You fucking strike and then you pull the trigger at the same time? What? Motherfuckers just with regular sword skills, they ain't doing shit versus guys that got gun blade skills. They got sword skills and
you
they
guys-
fucking got gun skills and they fucking motherfuckers up. I
the
don't know
Buster Sword's so wide, you could just block a bullet though. You could just turn it sideways.
I feel like I'm going back to middle school or whatever grade I was in when people had the conversations like, guys, who would win in a fight? Squall or
I
Cloud?
will say
Go.
though, like the sword they came up with for Advent Children was fucking infinitely more cool.
Which?
The one that was like 6 swords, fucking, and it
Oh,
made the
yeah.
Buster Sword.
Well, it's so he could do Omni Slash, right?
Yeah.
But like, there's multiple times where he's like, well, "Fuck, I'm fighting 2 people," and just fucking gets 2 swords out, and it's just like that fucking idea is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
But like, original Final Fantasy VII, they're like his concept art. He has a fucking big magnet on his back to hold the sword and shit. It was just like,
I think Sephiroth's sword is more
Sephiroth's
iconic.
sword is way more iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it's like fucking 12
It's
feet long.
fucking so stupidly
So silly.
long.
It's so silly,
It's
but
so
every-
fucking huge.
Every nerd back then was just like, bro, I'm gonna get me a samurai sword so it could be like it.
Katana.
But
be
it,
like
it
Sephiroth,
wasn't
yeah.
even a samurai. It was just like a fucking pencil thin sword.
Yeah,
it was like
such a bizarre
14
weapon.
He like
long.
had no way to hold it.
Yeah.
They like he couldn't have sheathed it. It was just like
Yeah.
straight 12 feet
It
long.
was
and he
so
was just like,
badass,
let me
though,
just
you're right.
cut planets in half with this sword.
It was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
It was great.
I'm trying to think like the earlier games obviously didn't have. You just had like the little like for the weapons. There was never any cutscenes or
I
anything.
think the Dragoon armor was pretty iconic if you're talking
Right.
about earlier games.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Kane?
Yeah. Kane. Yeah. What? No. Kane wasn't. Kane wasn't a dragoon, was he?
Wasn't he? Who am I thinking of?
No. Yeah. No, he did have jump. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. It's been. I think he did have jump. It's been forever.
Didn't Lightning have some sort of a fucking special sword or some shit?
I don't.
That shit.
I don't remember.
Pink hair. Lightning had pink hair. That's all I remember.
Yeah,
pink
she had pink hair.
and
It was.
attitude.
It obviously wasn't fucking that cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like every single game had its own thing that like 6 was definitely Magitech armor came out of that. That was really popular.
Right.
7, the Buster Sword was the thing they kept carrying over.
Magitech
8
armor's pretty cool.
Yeah, 8 had definitely the gun blades were a huge. I think 9, the biggest thing there was the way it solidified the way black mages look, like the way a black mage outfit looks.
Yeah.
10.
What did 10
I mean-
like?
10
Okay,
had
she
the
has a gun
summons,
blade.
like it sort of like finished, it like
Okay.
made summons look the way they do permanently. But I don't. I mean,
yeah.
he
Yeah.
Waka threw a blitz ball. Like I don't.
Yeah, Waka literally had a fucking ball, like a sports ball that he used to fight like gods and shit.
Yeah.
Like he used a goddamn volleyball to kill people
He would
with.
like just kill people with a fucking chest.
There's no one.
Like a fucking-
I'm sorry, but Waka's the coldest motherfucker in Final Fantasy. He used a goddamn volleyball to kill you. No one else did that.
No. Waka's significant other, Lulu, used dolls, and she wore all leather belts.
Well,
Yeah.
she
all
used
leather belts.
she used
Yeah.
What
dolls
a ridiculous character.
Lulu's
She's like,
day.
that. No, she used dolls to
She's
make
the
magic
fucking
happen.
Best character, Jesse. Right? Shut the fuck up.
Lulu.
Lulu
No,
is awesome.
look. I love Lulu. I just don't
Love
understand. I
Fucking
don't
best
understand
wife.
why in a world of islands and like beaches, she's wearing fur and all belts. It's like this is a very bizarre. Whatever.
She was a
Whatever.
fan. Well, she was a fan service character, I think.
Oh my God! Yeah, she
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
There was no other reason
Younger-
for her to be there except for fan service.
Well, every other person I knew was like, "Oh my God, I love Riku, whatever her name is." I was a Lulu guy. I was like,
I was
she got it.
Team
Ah,
Riku.
Lulu.
I was Team Riku.
Lulu.
I'll be honest.
You were
I
Team
was a Lulu
Riku?
guy.
I was Team Riku. Yeah.
Everyone like because she's like.
Bear in
I-
mind, it was like 10 years ago, so I was the appropriate age as well, right? Riku was pretty young.
Team Riku,
That's fair.
yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
What I'm trying to think like 13 didn't have like I think of 13 I'm like what was iconic about 13 and I'm like
That dude with the chocobo in his hair.
Yeah, like-
drink
Can
to
I
that
just, I
fucking-
just want to point out that I totally, until a few minutes ago, forgot there was a character named Hope. I think I blocked that kid out. I
oh
think I
yeah no
blocked him out of
Hope's
game.
the worst character of all time.
With the twirlies. With the twirlies.
Hope's the worst character of all
I blocked
time.
him out.
I hope we never see Hope ever again.
You can only hope.
Yeah.
One can only hope.
He's
Is
the
that Hope?
worst.
Oh no. Hope is the other one.
You're thinking
Yeah,
of
who's
I forget.
Yes, I am.
Vanille's twirly hair girl.
Vanille, yeah.
the other one.
Yeah,
Yes,
Vanille.
Vanille
that's
and
right.
Fang.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, forgettable character Hope.
Yeah. The only cool character in 13 is Fang. I'm sorry, but
Fang's
it's true.
cool, yeah.
Fang's
Yeah.
a great character, cool character. Great name. Maybe that's the entire reason why she's cool is because her name's Fang. She used the spear, if I recall correctly.
The problem
Can
with
Hope
13
be
is
more
that every
generic?
character was a trope that went try-hard version of that trope. Like, even Snow was like, I'm the badass guy, but I'm like, I have a... I
God,
can't even
Snow
explain
was
to you.
so
I hate
bad.
them all.
Snow is like,
Ugh.
oh man, I was playing World
His
of.
intro, can you find Snow's intro? He literally
ice where he
summons
skates
Shiva
in?
and then rides in on a motorcycle on the ice. It is the douchiest intro to a character. It's so bad. He's like, "Shut
Yeah,
up,
I'll
I'm
find
Snow."
it. I'll find it. I forgot about that.
Oh my god, yeah. Like, that game is so bad.
It might be.
I'm sorry if that's the first game you played and you love it, but there's so much better out there. I want you to experience it. Go play these other games.
Dude, the hate for Snow in the chat is so strong.
That's
So
hilarious.
fucking strong.
He was just a dumb
God,
character. Why is this 4x3?
Oh my God, there's some like really bad Snow. What is this Snow cosplay? Holy shit! What? I'm gonna send this link to you, dude, because it, Oh,
send it to
wow,
me
I
on.
can-
I don't know where you can send it to me actually.
don't worry about it. Never mind. No one's eyes need to see this.
Okay.
Let's look up Snow cosplay. You're gonna see some weird shit. Some weird shit.
I'm trying to find the Snow cutscene, but there's no
The world
specific.
may have just forgotten about it and just been like, no.
Yeah,
Like,
there's no
existed.
specific. I still remember. I still remember the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in Final Fantasy history, which is saying something, was the end of 13.3, where they bring lightning to Earth.
No, all right.
I know
It's worse than that.
lightning
is
shows up
so-
on a train after the world's end, and she's reincarnated and comes to Earth.
In order to do that, though, I guess this is like a trope of all Final Fantasy, but in order to do that, she kills God. And like it's such a, it's almost Captain Kirkian, and it's like the ego around this character, like, this is undeserved. Nobody likes you, Lightning. Nobody likes you. I don't want you in my world. Get off my damn bullet trains. The ending is so bad. She's like, just shows up on Earth, and then she's like, hey, I'm in Japan now.
I'm gonna be modeling for fucking Gucci. Cool.
Yeah, I quit Final Fantasy 13 like 2 hours in and was like, I guess I'm gonna look the ending up because I don't like this shit anymore. And then when I looked it up, I was like, thank God I am not playing the rest of this game. Like, it's that insulting. Oh God.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hate that game so much.
I can't agree with you. I can't
Yeah.
agree with you more. I feel like it is the one era of the series that I choose to forget.
Yeah,
I
well,
choose to think that never happened so that
I
I
drink
can
to
protect the
forget.
integrity of the other fucking awesome games that this, franchise is.
I
it's
will
the Phantom
say is-
Menace of Final Fantasy.
It totally is.
Yeah.
As I'm
It
scrolling, as I'm scrolling
There
through
it
all
is.
of these
That's
these cutscenes from 13, I will
Why?
say they
Why
did
do that to yourself?
the cutscenes are not terrible looking.
Oh no!
Like,
So, like,
you know what?
This
Listen,
is the only, like, this is why the game was popular. It's because, like, graphically it was like really fucking good.
It was really
And so, like-
it was pretty
yeah,
good.
sure.
Get like the
sure.
shallow motherfuckers are like, yo, this game's dope. This game's dope. Like, graphics are amazing. This game's dope. And then everyone else is like, this is shit. But like, yeah, the game looks amazing.
Sure. So I watch a lot of reality television, and there's something that my wife and I call the dopey music. And like whenever the dopey music comes on, you know that like they're about to show some contestant doing something just really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And I was blown away in Final Fantasy 13 when they were like totally okay just giving characters that dopey music. So like the moment the dopey music would come on, you know that you were about to see some stupid fucking shit that didn't belong in any goddamn fucking game. Like when I discovered that whole thing, I was just like, it's almost like a mockery that they're sort of making of the stuff that has been great. And that was the thing that I really had the biggest, the hardest time with Final Fantasy XIII, is that I almost felt like here was something that I took so seriously, that I was so invested in the stories and the characters, and that they just kind of shit all over. Because I don't know, that's what they thought I wanted. I don't know, but that's ultimately how I feel about 13.
Yep.
Yeah, fuck the dopey music and fuck 13.
Yeah. 12 was
How do you guys
pretty
feel
good.
about the 7 remake?
I mean, hopefully it won't suck. But
Hopefully it won't suck. It's episodic, so if the first part sucks, then
that's the one thing I don't understand, and I'm really curious because RPGs, at least for me, is about being over-leveled going into certain boss fights. And if it's episodic, if I'm trying to do that, where is my cutoff point? Like, is episode 1, you can only reach level 15. Like, how do you do that
Or can you just
episodically?
farm forever in that zone?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Am I going to, by the time episode 2 is out, am I going to be level 99? Like, well, this isn't even a challenge.
That's true.
Like, I don't know mechanically how they're going to make it work. I'm really interested.
I don't know. We'll have to see. There's so
Well, with the combat variations, like they could really limit combat, right? Or limit encounters.
Yeah.
Because it looks to be more a actual representation of the areas that were at one point 3D rendered.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they'll do, is just
Because aren't they
limiting,
doing the
which doesn't-
15 battle system as well?
what
I
was
think
it?
Yeah.
they mentioned they were
Yeah.
changing the battle
Yeah.
system, but I don't know that it's
They're doing like a
15.
real-time battle
Well, they're
system.
doing like Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it
battle
looks like
system
it's
in it.
real time.
Oh my god. Speaking of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. Do we need it? Well, I don't know if we.
What? Speaking
It's-
of Kingdom Hearts,
That game will never be released. And like we'll all
Three?
be dead and our grandkids will finally get it.
No.
They're
I
getting. Look,
want
hold on,
Kingdom
Jesse. Final Fantasy 15, aka Final Fantasy 13 Versus, is coming out a week from now. All right, it's actually happening. We're gonna see Kingdom Hearts 3 one day. We
One
might
day.
be.
One
We might
day
be.
we'll get it.
We might be 50 years old and talking about how Mickey is the coolest person in Kingdom Hearts, but it might happen. It might
Look,
happen.
this is all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna put this out there to the world. I need this. Look, Square, I know you're watching. Squeenix, I know you're watching. Make this happen. You had the secret fight in Kingdom Hearts 2 where it was Sephiroth fight. This is what I want.
Okay.
I need a secret Sephiroth fight, but it's Sephiroth and Darth Vader. I need that to happen. I need to fight both of them at the same time. Disney
what
owns,
if that's
Disney owns
why
Star Wars
Kingdom
now.
Hearts is taking so long?
Because they got to
What
try
if
to get
that
the
was
Star Wars
actually
IP.
Why?
Because they're
I
adding
mean,
Star Wars?
Like my dick is getting harder just thinking about that.
I would be so excited for where it's like Sora and Cloud versus Sephiroth and Sora, Luke, and Cloud versus Sephiroth, Darth Vader, and insert new bad guy.
Hold on, but
I
Jesse,
want that shit so
Jesse,
badly.
what if like Darth Vader's there, and then fucking like Thor shows up, man?
Holy shit! I forgot about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if like Tony
my
Stark walks in
God.
and he's like,
That would
"Hey
be
guys,
so
you want to fight?"
sick.
And the fucking Iron Man suit starts building on him, and you're
I
playing
mean,
Kingdom
you know
Hearts
what?
3.
Disney is actually, if you look at how Disney is kind of like, they're being super liberal with who they're letting just have their license. Like the amount of fucking mobile games and all sorts of shit that's coming out. Like it wouldn't shock me if that actually happened.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they did have Tron, right?
Yeah, they
added
did,
Tron.
and it was great. He was the best,
So-
one of the best parts.
Yeah. So, like, I would think that Disney and Marvel would actually be like, you know what? Fuck it. You guys have a track record of making fucking amazing games. Yeah, like, take it all. That would be.
They absolutely had a
fucking
Pirates of the
mind-blowing.
Caribbean level too. In the
Yeah,
last
they did,
Yeah,
one.
and
they
it was
did, you're
great.
right.
It was
You're right.
fantastic.
I can't. Oh my god.
That's why Kingdom Hearts 3 is gonna be great whenever it fucking comes
Oh,
out.
God. When it finally comes out, and your great grandkids get to play it, I want you to know that we will be there in spirit. Be like, go get it. We'll be your Obi-Wan. Like,
Yeah, we'll be the
cheering
fucking
you
little
on,
ghost.
bro.
The force. The four of us will be force ghosts. We'll just be like,
Yeah, we'll be in the background as Ewoks play when you play the game. We'll be
Yeah.
like, you
Someone-
did good.
But you can only find us in like the Star Wars universe. You have to specifically fly there. And we like give you a pep talk, and then you just fly away and go to like the
Endor
Marvel
level,
universe.
Yeah.
And then Sephiroth shows up and fucking kills Tony Stark, and then he goes up and you gotta like follow him.
Kingdom Hearts makes no sense, but I don't care that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's so dumb, I love it.
we're completely off topic from Final Fantasy, but
All
the
right,
last
sorry.
I saw a rumor 2 or 3 days ago, and I'm trying to find it. But technically, Lara Croft could show up in Kingdom Hearts 3.
You know what? I'm in. I don't even care anymore. I want as many random people in that game as possible.
Like, what if
doesn't?
What if Lara Croft and like Agent 47 show up and they're like, "Hey guys, we're here to
that shit ain't gonna happen. Fucking.
You don't
they're
think
not
they'd
gonna
go
be
that far?
Nah, not if they got fucking access to Star Wars and Marvel characters.
Okay,
Fucking
all
Lara
right,
Croft,
okay.
like is it like fucking Tony's up here and Lara's down here? Like, sorry.
But we
You're
all
not
know.
wrong.
But we
You're
all
not
know that's
wrong.
gonna be like a Kyrie outfit. At some point, she'll be like, "Look at
Yes,
Lara Croft
there you
outfit."
go.
There you go. That'd be
Yeah.
great. I'm into it.
There you
Yeah,
go.
fantastic.
What if like that Donald Duck just kills Mickey and then rips his face off and he's Agent 47 in a fucking suit? And that's like how the
Great.
game starts.
I
be
mean, I
fantastic.
want Sora and Jar Jar and fucking I don't know. Like
They need
I
to
mean,
just
as,
have a
as
mini
playable
game.
character, like Rocket Raccoon. That's who I want my team to be right
Oh,
there.
yeah, that'd be
Fucking
pretty good.
So
Jar
much-
Jar can be my Goofy. Fucking Rocket can be my Donald. I'm good to go.
That'd be pretty good. That'd be pretty good. This is quickly turning into a fandom for Kingdom, or for Disney
yeah.
IP. Really is what it's turning into.
No. Fuck Disney, all right? Fuck Disney.
Wow, that's
Okay.
rude. That's rude, man.
Yeah.
We're talking about Square here. One true love.
Yeah.
What if Disney bought Square?
Then I fucking love Disney.
What if they just bought Square Enix? They could
All right.
You know what?
I mean, they
You
would
know
be
what?
that much closer to taking over the fucking world.
I
as
could
far
see
as
that
I'm
happening,
concerned.
to be honest.
Put Square and Pixar together,
Oh,
and I
God.
wonder if some amazing things could happen.
You're
like,
probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah, be
Yeah.
good.
Like maybe their fucking amazing looking movies would have like a fucking
A
story
plot
arc.
to it. Should we talk about
Yeah.
Story Within? Or the
Within?
Spirits Within? Sorry.
Can
Where
we
the
not
last
talk about
line
that?
of the movie is, "Oh, it's so warm," and that's how the movie ends. It is a not good movie.
You know that's
It
why
is-
like Square almost went out of complete business because they
Yeah,
bought a
that's why they're
fucking
Square Enix now.
they bought a production studio in Honolulu and made that movie and spent way too much fucking money on it. And it was like the best CG ever seen in any media form at the time.
Yeah.
And it absolutely fucking bombed on all
Someone in
levels.
chat was talking about it earlier, and they were just like, it was like a movie that should have never been called Final Fantasy.
It's
Yeah.
not a Final Fantasy. It has nothing to
It's
do
not.
with it at all.
Yeah, it's not at all.
It really doesn't. It's
I haven't
like
seen it in a while.
it was really confusing to me as a fan when I was sitting in the theater. Like, wait, what is it? Am I in an alternate universe? Like I just could not. It was so fucking confusing.
I think it's
Yeah.
like 95% of us that went to see that movie went to see it because it had Final Fantasy in the
Well,
fucking name.
it was kind of
Yeah.
like it was the same thing that you saw Blizzard do with Warcraft, right? Like they set out to do the same exact thing they both set out to do the same exact thing. I think Warcraft obviously did a little bit better, especially in China, but like Spirits Within was.
I don't know. I would argue Advent Children was the Warcraft equal. I don't know what the fuck this was.
I mean, yeah, maybe you can make that argument for
think-
sure.
It was during that time where all the movies that were based on video games literally had nothing to do with the video games.
Right.
Yeah.
It was during that era.
Resident
The
Evil.
only
Yeah,
thing that was
Resident
even
Evil
remotely
era,
close
yeah.
was Mortal Kombat. Yeah, like most of them did not have anything to do with it, but it was named that because like it was one of those things where a lot of Hollywood thought that audiences wouldn't be able to handle it, and I think since then, things like the Marvel movies, is like people have proven that just stick with the source material and it'll be fine.
I want to see how much
Yeah.
money that Spirits Within actually cost because it was like astronomical.
Yeah, they
The
had,
film's
at
final
one point
cost
had like one of the largest server farms to render out like the movie and shit.
This is it right here. The film's final cost of $137 million, which included $30 million spent on marketing by the film's distributed Columbia's, escalated from an original budget rumored to be around $70 million. $45 million alone was spent on the construction of Square Studio in Hawaii. It's a lot of money, man.
It seems like a weird place to put together a production studio.
Yeah, out in the middle of the fucking nowhere.
Animation. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, our full render's done. It's 45 gigs. What? I'll just fire it to you via FTP. Okay, great.
Yeah.
It'll be there in 2 days.
I'll hop on a plane and bring it to you faster than you can download this.
Yeah, I don't know.
It made $85.1 million in the box office.
How much?
85.1. So they lost
international.
It says USD, so maybe that's just US. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the wiki for it, or the IMDb for it. So
they lost like 50 million.
They lost a lot. I mean, it's the reason the company almost was no longer there. It was almost no longer a company. Yeah, which is crazy. But luckily, what movie did that? Or sorry, what game correlated with the release of Spirits Within? Was that 9, or were we already at 10 by then? It came out in 2001, so we were probably already at 10.
We were at 10.
Yeah. I guess 11 was just getting ready to ship, and they were working on 12. Yeah.
That all correlates to the heyday of Square. If you think about it, Square had Secret of Mana, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Cross, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, like all those games, like Vagrant Story, all the games they were releasing were all like Final Fantasy Tactics. That was the heyday of when they could do no wrong.
Yeah.
And then they dropped that movie, and I think it's been a struggle ever since to like recapture the magic.
Dude, you can see like Final Fantasy X 2001, Final Fantasy 11 2002. Like they had a Final Fantasy game coming out every single year, and then that fucking movie comes out, Final Fantasy 12 2006.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 13 2009. Suddenly it was like 5 years between games.
It's
4 years, 3 years between games.
The length of game development also increased tenfold when you got to the 360 and the PS3 era, without a doubt, just because it takes so fucking long for that. But to go back to your render farm, 960 workstations.
Jesus.
Tasked with the film's 141,000 frames. It took a staff of 200 about 4 years to complete the movie.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was 16 terabytes.
That was a big
rendered.
deal at the time because, like, it was the hottest shit as far as like CG rendering.
It was the best. It was the best in all of media, for sure, without a doubt.
I think that worked against it because if you remember, I remember reading newspaper articles before going to see this movie because I was like one of the 3 people in my entire city at the time who actually went to go see it. But like, I was super interested in what people thought of it, and all the articles, every single one talked about how amazing the technology was and how these characters were lifelike. And then all the reviews, because of how everyone said it was lifelike, all the reviews shit on the movie because they were like, it's not lifelike at all. All these people look like mannequins that can like move.
Yeah.
And so the technology-wise, everyone's like, it's amazing. But review-wise, like, this movie's shit because it's trying too hard to be real. It's so bizarre and weird.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the wiki for this movie, and it says, in 2011, BioWare art director Derek Watt cited The Spirit Within as a major influence on the successful Mass Effect series of action role-playing games, which is pretty funny.
Whoa, okay.
But then, I haven't played this, but in the first episode of Square Enix published Life is Strange, when the lead interacts with a TV, she mentions the idea of watching this film.
Yes, she does. She does.
Well, I don't care what anyone says. That's one of the best sci-fi films ever
I
made.
remember that line. I remember when that happened because I was like, "What in the fuck?"
That is fucking hilarious.
By the way,
hey, do me a favor. Give me a +1. Give me a like to that Spirits Within we did so long ago.
Jesse, since you're the only person here that's played Life is Strange, djWHEAT is the teacher.
Oh yeah, no, that's absolutely.
Yeah. I just want that.
I look. I'm not saying there needs to be a future TwitchCon ideas. Just recreating video game scenes, but only using djWHEAT as characters from those games. I'm just saying, make it happen. It would be amazing. An entire panel of just that.
I could do this guy. I could do Gordon Freeman if I get the goatee going.
Yeah.
Main stage,
Okay.
the whole thing. Make it
Dude,
happen.
I'm not kidding. You are literally that teacher. The first time I saw him, I was like, oh my God, djWHEAT's in a game.
I don't even want to tell you about the moment where you were playing that, and my Twitter blew up because you were talking, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on, man?
Well,
like,
you turn into a creepy motherfucker, but
well, and then I spoiled the whole game when I fucking went to find out what was going on. So
yeah,
thanks
pretty much.
I thought that game was called Life is Tumblr for so long because everyone kept calling it that, and then I realized that it's called Life is Strange.
It's good. It's a great game. You should play it. How are you guys? Do you guys want to take a break and we'll come back and figure out the best game and talk about 15? Or are you good? Are we good?
Sure. I'm good. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. If we don't need a break, I'm more than happy to just continue going.
Jump into it, dog.
All right. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get my phone, and I'm gonna give you guys each 5 minutes.
Oh my God, that might be too long.
What?
You're gonna have 5 minutes max to sell me on why your Final Fantasy is the best Final Fantasy. You can use as much or as little as that time as you want. You got 5 minutes. This is the most scientific way to do this, guys. There's no other method. Trust me. And let me do this.
I don't know if science has anything to do with this.
No, we're not taking a break. I need a way. I'm just gonna log into Roll20 and roll a D3. Figure out who goes first.
Whatever. It should go in fucking chronological order. Jesus.
That's a good. Okay, Wheat seals the deal. Again, the most scientific method. JesseCox, are you ready to talk about Final Fantasy VI and why it's the best Final Fantasy of all time?
Oh yeah, of course I am.
All right, sir.
Of course I am.
Your time starts now.
Final Fantasy VI. God, I can't believe we're actually doing Final Fantasy VI is a game that it's the game that set in motion all the subsequent Final Fantasies. Up until that point, Final Fantasy was about classes and about the combination of those classes. And even though there was some story, it was about the actual gameplay aspects of it. Final Fantasy VI comes along and changes it from the class structure and balancing out your group to who you want as a character on your team. It is a game created with 14 characters in mind, and it's a large cast, and in that cast, you're going to find people you attach to, and those are the people you play as. And then you can make it so you can make those characters whoever you want them to be. So sure, you can have Terra as a caster, but she can also be your healer too. You can make her do all sorts of things. There's all these interconnections between the characters, and it's about the characters, and that's what sets up all the games in the future. It's the basis for why 8 is so popular amongst people who love the love story, right? It's the reason why there are all these fans of the characters in 7, right? It's all because of what 6 did. 6 also introduced the fact that a good story needs to have a good bad guy, and so the bad guy in 6 is a legendary villain. The music is phenomenal. Each of the 14 characters has his or her own theme. Those themes interconnect, and they take place in this world that has an overarching theme of hope. Hope in the face of despair that is truly something that you face in this game because you lose. That's really like the midpoint of the game is you lose. It is a character-focused narrative story that really defined JRPGs. It's the one that set forth what a good JRPG could be. It's one of those things that all of the tropes that we know and love come from and are established in this as well. So even though there are Tomberries and Moogles and Cactuar and all sorts of other crap, the way we see them comes from the way we saw them in 6. And how they were brought forth into the others. So it's the last SNES game. It's the last one that they really went all out in, and they really truly took time and energy to make it special. And it changed the way you saw video games, especially for me as a kid. And the topics it dealt with weren't just tropey RPG topics. It dealt with death and suicide and
Death.
like all sorts of things that I'm trying to think if it was directly said, but there's definitely some rapey aspect. Like, it deals with real adult subjects in a game that is pixel sprites, right? And so because it's pixel sprites, it has to rely so heavily on characters and emotion and the writing and the music, and it's not visual. There's no visual flair to it. It's a game that is based around you filling in visual, like when a summon's called, it's just like, you know, Rama shows up and it's like, and then like vanishes. And it's not too visually impressive, but it's this thing that you're connected to everything that's happening, and even the summons are characters in the game, right? Everything is connected in this game, and you know, chat's right. War is another like big part of this game, and under all of that, under all of these dark tones, the fact that the villain is a nihilist and wants to just destroy the world for no reason, under all of that is an amazing adventure story with characters that you will come to love, and stories that really are sweet and inspiring and funny. And I mean, I'll end with this. It has an opera scene. And an opera literally has an opera scene where you just play in an opera. It's an opera scene where you go there to trick Setzer, and so Celis must become an opera singer. You must sing the opera, watch the opera, and then at the end, battle Ultros on a stage while the opera conductor's like, fuck it, let's do it! And they start playing music. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's beautiful, and you're just like, what the hell is going on? With 10 seconds left, I'm just going to put it this way. Final Fantasy VI suplexes a train.
I was waiting for that to come out. I was waiting for that line to be said.
Wow.
It's hard to beat.
A man suplexes a train.
How do you follow that? He talks so much shit. Like, you can't. It's hard.
Look, truly, I fundamentally, in my core of my being, believe it to be the greatest game of all time. Like, I could talk about it endlessly. I like, it's just a feeling I have. And this is what I'll say about 8 and 7. I cannot shit on those games. Like, I can't talk bad about them because they are equally, in my mind, fantastic stories and pieces of art. And so, even though we may disagree about which is the best, I think you're both right in saying that you think yours are the best because they're fantastic, and I cannot say a bad thing about them.
All right.
So I'll leave it at that.
Strippin.
This is like a presidential campaign where he's just complimented his opponent, and now the opponent doesn't know what to do. You know what I mean?
Strippin, are you ready, sir?
No. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. You have 5 minutes. Begin now.
All right. Final Fantasy VII is a game which, at its core, focuses on the loss of a loved one. And it comes from a real fucking place because it happened to the series director while he was making this game. And you start off in Disc 1, and you're just a domestic terrorist. You're just a guy for hire. And you meet these people, and you form these bonds. And then the rest of the game centers around dealing with this loss and like almost avenging your loved one and how you can move. And I think just like everyone loses people they love. And that's what made this game so relatable and why it's so popular is that like this game just has that core attribute that everyone can relate to. And just, yeah, it's just, you go through and it's got like these mysterious enemies, but then it's got like this very real, like governmental enemies. The characters are all great. They've all got very strong personalities. It's a very real game. Like all the characters have issues. You meet like Red 13 and he's got like these daddy issues and he finds out his dad was a great guy, and like Sid's smoking and abusive to his girlfriend because he lost his dream of being the first man in space and kind of like lashes out at the people closest to him. And there's all these real issues, but like it does a really good job of flipping it and making sure you have like these light, happy tones. It's got like the chocobos and all that kind of stuff. And Cloud is for the most part a blank slate. And he's not really understanding himself. And I think that helps you as well get into the story and like attach yourself to the side characters around you. I think it's a fucking great game. I think the whole materia element was extremely innovative. for being a PlayStation 1 game, it was so far ahead. And considering it wasn't even originally going to be on PlayStation 1, there's just so much to do in this game. Like, this is a 100+ hour game, like, easily. And that's, there's just an expansive world you can explore. There's so much in this game that is not even on the beaten path. Like, you can go through the game and not even meet a bunch of the characters if you don't look hard enough. And it's just, it's the level of depth and the emotional attachment to the game really speaks volumes. The music in Final Fantasy VII is the best music in a Final Fantasy game. Like, it's the most popular. Just fucking, you can't deny it. All right, this game sold over 10 million units, more than any other Final Fantasy game. This game had over 4 spin-off titles and a feature-length movie. Altogether, this game has sold like 25 million units, which is 3 times more than any other Final Fantasy title. Like, the numbers speak for themselves that this game is just overwhelming favorite, all right? It's amazing. It's the fucking best.
Do you give your minute and 45?
No, Sam, don't give up. Sam, look at my chat. Look at chat.
What do I need to say?
Look at chat. You can say that.
What?
Look at the chat I sent you. Talk about that. It has one of the best scenes in a game. Talk about that.
What are you talking about? Oh, the cross-dressing?
Cloud literally dresses up as a woman in order to sneak into a brothel. It's an amazing scene.
But not just that, but like he's like sexually assaulted
out of the remake.
by like the buff dudes at the end of the scene. Like, everything in this game is like pretty fucking dark, and it's just like, like the creator is telling a story of like how he's dealing with loss and like all these fucking issues, and how everyone has these issues and has to go through something, but ultimately like it's how you band together and pick yourselves up that fucking saves your world, saves the world that you're in. So yeah, I think it's fucking amazing. I think it's an amazing game.
All right. We'll concede the rest of the 35 seconds here.
Can I have his 35 seconds?
We'll add on the 35 seconds to djWHEAT.
I'm just fucking around. I probably won't even need all 5.
All right. Are you ready, sir?
I'm ready. Just drop it.
All right.
Give it to me. Final Fantasy VIII is my favorite Final Fantasy game ever, and I'll get to why at its core. And I want to echo what Jesse said, is that, like, when it comes to 6 and when it comes to 7, it's really hard for me to say anything bad about these games. Like, if anything, I might say that Final Fantasy VII might be a little overrated at times, but in essence, for what it is, it's a technological wonder in what they did. It's an amazing story. But with Final Fantasy VIII, first and foremost, Strippin, I'm sorry you're wrong, but Liberi Fatale is like one of the greatest songs that ever come out of a Final Fantasy composer, and still remains one of the best. It had Triple Triad, which we all agreed basically was the reason why Hearthstone was created. It has the Gunblade, which is, it was so great they brought it back for Final Fantasy 13 and gave it to Lightning. That wasn't even enough to save the series, but it was good. It had some of the most amazing GFs that also included some of the most just incredible technological advances when it comes to PlayStation. And I know that it's hard to put yourself in that era, but when you see some of the things that they accomplish and the scale in which they do it, it truly is fucking incredible. And to be a tech jump just from 7, because 7 was a huge tech jump, but for 8 to be a tech jump where they don't have deformed characters and they incorporate a lot of full motion video with the 3D models, it's amazing. The junction system I love because it allowed me to really min-max to my potential. And one of my favorite scenes of any Final Fantasy, which is the garden scene where Blam Garden is battling with the other garden. You have fucking motorcycles launching off the sides to like intercept the garden. Then you have like this was before Lord of the Rings, where you saw fucking thousands of soldiers fighting on a field, and you saw hundreds of Seed and Garden members like battling it out and fucking throwing spells and fighting with gun blades, and it was like the most amazing thing I'd ever seen in a video game ever. But the reason I truly love Final Fantasy VIII is that I feel like when we play video games, a lot of times we find things which are relatable to ourselves, whether that be characters or whether that be the themes that are happening. And Final Fantasy VIII came at a really interesting time for me in my life when I was like sort of meeting my wife for the first time, and or actually the second time really, and I was thinking more about my relationship as it was in real life. And here in front of me was this game that had a heavy theme of love and had a heavy theme of no matter where you are, no matter what you're going through, no matter what shit is thrown in your way, like there's a connection that two people make, and because of this connection you can find one another again and everything will be okay. And so this game came out in a period where I also sort of met my wife for the second time, because this was like we were dating for a second time, but it was also the moment when I knew that she was the right one for me. And so Final Fantasy VIII represents to me, because it is the sappy, dopey love story between Squall and Rinoa, it represents to me a lot of what this awkward character Squall, who fucking didn't talk to girls very well and wasn't like, this super awesome outgoing guy. And I was like, holy shit, I can actually totally fucking relate to Squall. And so combined with these amazing battles and this epic love story and a time traveling / time compression story that made more sense than the Arrival and actually comes to a better conclusion than the Arrival does, Final Fantasy VIII is to me the best Final Fantasy for all of those reasons. So Squall, Rinoa, I see them as myself and Gen. And I know that a lot of people don't particularly like the draw system or like whatever. But I think for me, it truly is the theme of Final Fantasy VIII that draws me to it and says why it is my favorite Final Fantasy game of all time. And that's all I have to say.
There you go.
There you go.
JP, you got to do 5 minutes for 4.
I don't know if I need to do 5
On
minutes for
4? I don't think
He
that's
fucking said
possible.
4 is his favorite.
4 is
can't get out
my
of it.
favorite.
Yeah.
Fucking
I don't
do
think
it.
there's 5 minutes of stuff to talk about for 4 though. Good luck.
I don't know if I need to do 5 minutes on 4. I'm trying to.
I mean, you can stop early, like the rest of us.
I mean, I think all I have to say about 4 is you go to the moon on an airship powered by a fat chocobo, and that's the coolest thing ever.
Well, we have our winner.
We have our winner. 4
We
wins.
have our winner. I'm in.
4
I got
wins.
4's
I
great.
got
4 is great. You also go to the fucking Dwarven Kingdom. That place is awesome.
You do.
You go everywhere in that fucking game in that goddamn airship. You actually get upgrades to an airship. I don't know if that's happened in other Final Fantasies.
Oh man.
4 is pretty good.
Maybe not.
Also, Fusoya has the best death sequence in any Final Fantasy, where he just plops down into the little pile of hair, and that's great. I'll always remember that.
You love
Also,
that part.
Spoony Bard. Like 4 is
The Spoony Bard is pretty classical, yeah.
4 is a classic. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, to put a bow on all of that, they're all like great games in their own right, and there is no best one. It's whatever one that you. We told a story on how he connected with 8. Jesse told a story on how he connected with 6. Strippin played 7 first. That's why he likes 7 the best.
I told a story, man. It's dealing with loss.
I'm joking. I know.
But it's absolutely true in that Final Fantasy games, if you play one and that's not your jam, you can play another because it's totally different, and
Yeah.
that might be the one that you love.
resonates with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're all different, and they all have different settings and stories and themes, and each one relates to something that I'm sure would connect to you. You just need to find the one that's yours.
Yeah. And if you think 13 is the best, just know you're a dirtbag.
And you're wrong.
And you're wrong.
Yeah, just know you're inherently wrong.
I didn't know your opinion could be wrong, but it
Yeah.
can if you say 13.
If you say 13, you can actually be wrong.
You can't be wrong. That's one thing we can agree on today, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how this. I made this while we were doing the show, so I'll post this this Google Doc if you guys in the chat want to answer. because now we're going to talk about 15 and our hope that it's going to be good. Jesse, you've played 6 hours of it. Is that of the full version, or did you play it at PAX?
It's whatever version they gave me to play. So at PAX this year, I went with literally nothing scheduled. And then a few days before, Squeenix is like, hey, do you want to come try this? I'm like, yes, I have a whole day free. And they're like, all right. So I went to like this hotel that was nearby and just played and played and played. And so I will say this.
What chapters did you go through?
From the beginning on.
Okay, so you got to like chapter 2 or 3, I assume?
Yeah. So I will say this. I'm not gonna no spoilers for anyone for the story, but from the get-go, from the moment it started, the opening scene was not something I expected and was like, what?
It's really odd.
Because it's super out of place, but I was like, oh shit, that might be the end, ?
Yeah.
Like they're giving you a little tidbit of what to expect. So that was really cool. It was totally out of place. I think that mechanically, I had a ton of fun playing it because it's really fast paced and your guys are all over the place and you can really get in and out of the combat and sort of watch your ass. But if you were going to stream this or you were going to like upload it, God help you. I don't know if an audience could watch it because it's so fast.
Yeah, I'm doing a 24-hour stream for it. It is really fast. Yeah.
It's super fast paced.
You mean combat?
Yeah, the combat is. Yeah.
Combat is really quick.
And the reason it's so fast is because Noctis who you play, you can't really play as the other characters, at least where we played in the game. I don't know if it changes.
Right.
You basically fly around and teleport around in combat with your different swords.
Omni slash.
Yeah, so you're literally just going, like just zooming between all the fucking characters. Then you do like a little combo where you have one of the 3 guys come in and maybe he does like a big heavy swing, or maybe he fucking shoots a guy or something like that. And then you do another combo where you teleport in and stuff like that. But it is ridiculously fast. And I've heard it only gets crazier as the game plays.
Because his magic is that he can teleport to his weapon. So he throws his weapon at someone and then will like teleport to it. And which makes for like really cool looking fight scenes, but like it's very like quick and jarring.
Yeah. The very first ability you get, well, speaking of abilities, the abilities in this game are, so the way it works is a day-night cycle, and at night you can camp, and during that time you can eat food. Like one of your characters can cook, so he can make you food that he learns from killing monsters. And the food will like give you buffs for the next day. And all your XP you generate during the day is given to you at night.
Yeah. It's given to you when you rest specifically.
Right. It's given to you when you go and camp.
Yeah.
And so then you have this big pool of ability points, but all the ability points are like you might have let's say you have 100. You must split that up between all the characters. And so you have to decide what character gets what. And so when I played, I just focused on making one of my guys an amazing healer so I would never die. But the first character you get as Noctis, or the first ability as Noctis, is you can just like warp out of the way of attacks. So not only are you warping to attack, then you can like warp out of the way to attack and then warp into a dodge as well. So already the first thing you're doing is like pew, 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 around the screen. I imagine like this is definitely not the game you're playing where your little brother or sister is watching you play like, this looks awesome. They'd be like, what is happening? But when you're playing it, you're so in it, you don't notice how fast it's moving, because to you it's like, I'm doing all these moves and kicking ass. It's really fun to play. I don't know visually how much fun it would be to watch.
Yeah.
But the characters, I think it's really funny that their ability points also reflect their perks. So each of the 4 main characters that you start with, one is a cook, one is like he can climb rocks, Noctis can fish, and the other takes photos. And I swear to you, there's an ability you can put AP points into where he takes photos during combat. I don't know what that does or why it does that, but I'm hoping like in the middle of combat he's just snapping photos of like the battle.
Yeah.
I don't know what the purpose of it is.
Just like stabs a guy in selfies.
Yes, like I don't know what it is, but I want to know more because it's so stupid and weird, but it's perfectly Final Fantasy. Like it's exactly what I would expect. And I mean, I'm gonna give a mild spoiler for Sid. Sid's a badass in this game, and the first time you meet him, I'm like, this guy gets it. This is who I'd be if I lived in this world.
Yeah. There's also Sydney as well.
Who I also am a huge fan of.
Yeah,
Shout out to
she's
Sydney.
kind of a little tropey.
So Can I want to ask because I know that like a few people have played some like different parts, and there's a lot of discussion about how it's very open world at the beginning, and like almost a polar opposite is 13, where it goes sort of linear to open. This is supposed to go from open to linear.
That's what I've read. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
It
do
definitely
we-
does. It does.
Okay,
Yeah.
but we don't
So-
know anything about that.
And they definitely won't show us. I don't think. Unless
there are very long previews that you can go and read about the game and how it goes to that. But yes, it is from everything that I've read and everything that I've watched. The game does go from very open to very linear towards the end of the game.
Yo, I will say, someone in chat asked, and I would definitely recommend this. Go watch Kingsglaive.
Yeah,
Even
we can
though
talk
you
about
may
that.
not like Kingsglaive, and you may be like, "Oh, this movie's jank," watch it because it is definitely the opening cutscene of the game, and the biggest thing is that the game starts right before the movie, and then we come back to it after the movie's done. So, like, even though it's not necessary, it impacts the beginning of this game 1,000%. Like, you will
Interesting.
see the beginning completely differently. You'll be like, "Oh shit!" So it's definitely something I would recommend watching, but you don't need to. But I recommend it.
Yeah. It gives you a sense of who the fuck these characters are when they come on screen before they're ever even talking. So there's a lot of characters that the four people will work with, and you know things about them that you won't know if you haven't watched
But the
movie.
four characters aren't in like the lead
There's-
four
there's
characters
nothing
aren't
to do
in
with-
Not
Kingsglaive.
in Kingsglaive.
There's maybe
Okay.
5 seconds of
It's
you
like
see Noctis.
it's like the daughter and the king or something are
Yeah.
part of
Yes.
the story.
premise of the
I-
movie is like he's been sent away, and this is what happens when
Okay.
he's
While
he's
away.
around.
So the
Which
game.
Okay.
impacts.
Well, go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, it just impacts the beginning of the game then, because you see him leaving, and in the movie he's just left.
Yeah.
So it's sort
Okay.
of like the missing bit of what happens between when he leaves and then when you finally catch back up with them in the game.
Yeah.
It's that scene that's sort of like removed from the story, kind of.
And
And-
it fills your head with like knowledge, like you know why he has his abilities, you know why like his empire is at risk, and like it
Right.
just gives you a lot of answers that the game doesn't provide, and so it gives you a better footing just to like start the game and enjoy the game.
And the actual
Yeah, so-
movie starts about 2 hours, or rather ends about 2 hours into the game. That's when the storylines kind of sync up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what happens in the movies, you get kind of a news broadcast or a radio broadcast in the game saying like, blah 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 has happened, and then people react. What were we gonna say, Wheat, though?
Oh, I was just gonna say Voodoo had like a sale for Kingsglaive, Advent Children, and Spirits Within, and it was like $20. I was like, I can't pass that up, right? Because I have to watch this anyway. But I've also not played any of the demos, and have pretty much like shielded myself from most information regarding this game. So
I'm exactly the same. I haven't.
okay.
I've
I
read
didn't
way
know
too
that.
much
That's
about
anything.
this.
Yeah, I'm excited because I am going in like fucking dumb. I know nothing. I will watch Kingsglaive per your suggestion. Just it looks awesome. Like I just got through Spirits Within, so I was going to watch Advent Children and then watch Kingsglaive, even though none of them are connected. But like you got to get my value out of my shit. So,
Yeah.
but I feel like that's probably the one thing I will do before I start to play.
Yeah, I played Jesse. Unlike you, I played the game in full Japanese and had no idea story wise what the fuck was going
Shut up,
on.
you played all of it?
No, not the full game. I'm saying.
All right, I was like, oh.
No, I haven't played the full game
wish.
yet. This is the Judgment demo that came out on Japanese PSN about a week ago.
Oh, I saw people talking about that.
Yeah, like
so
it-
what about the anime? Because wasn't there an anime also released
It's on
that's like
YouTube.
It's called
totally
Brotherhood.
just go
Yeah,
watch it.
I've only watched first episode. Did you watch it in
and
full,
that
Jesse?
is the four the four
It is.
It's
characters,
just
yeah.
right?
backstory on their friendship and how they met each other and sort of what's going on while they're on the road. It's just more information.
Is it good?
It's very
Okay.
It's okay.
it's very anime-y. So if like you can get past the tropiness of it, it's informational. I'll give it that. Like you're like,
mean-
I see what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm watching Food Wars right now, so if it's not
Oh,
better
then
than
you'll
that,
be
then-
fine. You will love it. You will think it's great.
Oh. What?
It's not even close to.
I think Jesse didn't know that you watched anime.
But
Yeah, no. If you're like me and you don't watch anime, it's a hard to get through kind of thing. If you like anime, then it's right up your alley.
I get what you're saying, Jesse.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. And there, how long is each episode? Like 7 or 8 minutes? Are they longer than that?
Yeah, not even. Yeah,
it's like short form.
Okay. Yeah. I'll probably watch that.
So did you like this platinum demo that came out, JP?
This is the Judgment demo, not the platinum.
Or Judgment?
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. I mean,
Platinum was the first one. Right?
This is the first chapter of the game. Like, there's nothing changed for this demo. It's the first chapter of the game, or first chapter and a half, maybe chapter 2. Yeah, it was cool. It was great. I enjoyed walking around. Jesse, I have some questions about the systems in the game. Do you know? So around the camps, there's the lightning, the fire, and the ice things.
Yes.
And Wheat, you might actually like this because you collect lightning and fire and ice much like you do in Final Fantasy VIII, to my knowledge, to where you then create items from these 3 sources, and those are the
You're like throwing
power?
bombs, essentially.
They're like the power of the bombs that you create, right?
Yeah. So like imagine one of the earliest camps, because it tells you to go there. There's a lightning source around, and I think an ice one maybe. And
There's 3 around all of them. Yeah, there's 3 around all of them.
Yeah.
At least in the
beginning. So if you go and collect the power, you can then use it as bombs. So magic in this game is like, at least early on, is more like I'm throwing a fire bomb at you, but it's a fire spell, but it's a bomb.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you power up through those stones. And then of course all the characters have their own different unique abilities and things they do. And then each thing you can do, like if you're, for example, if you're using Noctis to fish, you're like everyone.
I did a little fishing. It's pretty good. Pretty little mini game.
Yeah, there's a bunch of mini things you can do, and it all affects you. Like then you go back to camp, and at night, then the one dude can cook up things you found during the day, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like watching your footage here, JP, and like Jesse, you said you play for 6 hours.
Yeah.
There definitely is like a bit of a hack and slashy feel to what I'm seeing. But is that how it feels when you're playing?
No, it feels much more God, I'm trying to think of like a combination. It feels more like Kingdom Hearts. If I had to say it felt like anything, it feels like
it's Kingdom Hearts, but a little. It's Kingdom Hearts, but like maybe not as active. If that makes like there's
not
things
as active.
Yeah, but like as a singular character, it's active, right? But there's things that you can do with the other people to affect the fight. Like you can have, and granted, I don't know their names. What's the big muscly guy named? Jesse.
Oh, Hellfire. I just remember Noctis because
Noctis, Prompto. Prompto's the fucking like the photographer, or maybe the
blonde guy. He's the blonde guy. That
whatever the big muscly guy is. You bet you
has a million fangirls already,
Yeah.
which is like the game doesn't even exist yet, and Prompto's like the number one.
He's like number 1 bay. Yeah. If you hold down L1, you can do these like combos, right? And so like with the big guy, he comes in there with his sword and like does this big like area of attack ability, and then the like game part of that is once you do that, you have a split second to enact another combo with that. So like if you hit X at the right time, then your character Noctis jumps in and gets like a big damage combo off that. And that has a chance to like knock the enemy down or stagger it or something. And then you can just fucking destroy the mob like outright. And this bar actually, this bar builds over the battle.
It's very similar to like it's such a weird example, but in Witcher 3 when you like igni a guy off a horse and he falls over and you just walk up and stab him, you can do that to some monsters in this game as well. Like if you get them on the ground, they're like, bruh, you can just finish them off without having to worry about them getting back up.
Right. Interesting. Now, the other funny, Jesse, did you go out at night in the beginning of the demo?
Yeah, so they
God.
Like the game tells you like
I want to show this off.
Don't want to be out at nighttime. That's just going to get cray. But I in the distance saw some eggs and I thought, well, my cook could use those eggs, so I'm going to go get him. I ended up in a 15-minute nighttime battle against like 100 birds. And it was so funny because they kept attacking me because my healer was so good, I wouldn't die. So I was just like in this epic struggle flying through the air, like stabbing birds. And it was super fun. I'm not even going to hate on it. It was a lot of fun, but ridiculous. But then the minute it actually became like real night, monsters appeared, and it was horrible. I was like, run to shelter, go. So yeah, it's one of those things where at night you have to watch out because evil things come to get you.
Yeah, I was driving around at nighttime, and I'm trying to find it in here, but I can't. I'm just driving around on nighttime in the middle of the road. There's like this weird teleport thing that happens down the road. This might actually be it. And a bomb comes out, and I'm like, okay. It's like a level 15 bomb. I'm like 5. I'm like, okay, that's kind of impressive. Bomb comes out and like walks around you, and it's like, oh, it's a bomb. It's whatever. Then a fucking iron giant walks out with his massive fucking sword, who's like towering over me, and I'm like, all right, that guy's level 30. Let's see how this goes. I walk up to him. He just takes his sword, goes like that, and slams it into the ground and one-shots me. I'm like,
How is death handled in this game?
You go to like a downed state, and then one of your AI compatriots comes over and picks you
Get
up.
you back up.
I don't know if you can flat out die. Jesse, did you flat out die anywhere?
No, I never did, but I would imagine it would take you back to the like if everyone died, take you back to the last point you camped, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. So here.
But I never flat out died because someone would always come heal me or pick me back up and be like, "Come on, the fight's still going on."
Yeah, there's the bomb and Iron Giant. They're pretty fucking massive. The game has a very good sense of scale as well. If you played the other demos, you know that because you've seen like the Ramu summon. I've also heard there's only 6 summons in the game. I don't know if there's how true that statement is, but I've heard it's very.
That seems crazy.
I did spoil myself because I watched a video in preparation for this, and I didn't think about it. It was in Japanese, and it was like every summon, Rama or whatever it was, and I was. That
was what I tweeted out.
Yeah, was that you?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. So I watched it, and I was like, all right, that's cool. Look how old that looks. Like, oh, look at that. And the last one is the Final Fantasy 15 version. I was like,
yeah.
What? It is amazing looking.
We're talking like. This is the Mighty Garden Bomb, but we're talking when he summoned. He was in one of the early demos, and you could actually see the entire summon engine. But if you imagine your guy is an ant, Ramu comes in with this he basically just grabs you. I can practically show the thing if we want, but I don't want to spoil the people watching. He grabs you, and you go up like I don't know 20 stories, and he's standing there with his fucking giant staff and his big beard. And he starts like channeling the lightning. Then he like slams his fucking staff down, and the lightning like hits the ground, and everything just gets decimated.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know
fucking rad. It's so.
I don't know what
fucking
the
cool.
context of the scene is. I have no clue what's going on, but the actual visuals just like
is.
All right, you got me. Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
And this game does look incredible. I mean, what I have seen from before, like the big Final Fantasy 15 presentation, and then TwitchCon, and even watching this right now, it looks goddamn amazing.
Also, here's another good example of the sense of scale. This is a quest very early on in the game where you're walking around and you happen upon this giant fucking monstrosity, who's like a bird. I don't know if it's a summon. You can fight him if you want, but he flies away when you first see him. He's not even full. Like he'll pop up soon, and you'll see how fucking big he is. And it starts playing the like epic music the second he flies away, and you're just kind of like, all right, I'd never want to see that.
Did you actually attack him here?
Yeah. I was terrified walking around this thing, though. Like, I had a sense of just eeriness creeping around this thing as he was sitting there sleeping, and I'm going to steal his eggs.
That's awesome.
Someone in chat asked how the game is performance-wise. I would definitely say there's some moments where you notice like a little frame rate issues.
You played an old version. It's a solid 30. This demo was a solid 30. I never dropped below 30. And they're also going to make it uncapped frame rate when the game launches on a day one patch. And if you have a PS4 Pro, it'll be 1080p 60 with a patch sometime in December.
That's all I was about to say.
Is it 1080p 60?
Well,
like,
it's
should
1080p.
I get a Pro just to play this?
I would be lying to you if I said I didn't buy a Pro specifically for this purpose.
That's why I bought a Pro as well. 100% to play Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
heard there's like a shitload of performance issues with the PS4.
With other games, there is, yeah. Yeah,
with other games, but they literally have hyped this up as like the Pro version of 15 is going to be amazing. So I was like, all right, I'll buy a Pro. That's the only reason why I own one right now. That's it. Just to experience this game in the best way possible.
Yeah. Also, here's that thing flying away if you want to watch this fucking craziness occur. because it's
I'm
massive.
watching it, yeah.
The music fucking starts to. I can actually just play it. Oh, it's muted. There you go. Very opera bullshit.
I think's mad, bro.
Yeah. And he just pieces out. You're kind of like, what the fuck?
Awesome.
Apparently, if you stay there too, he flies back over. So I don't know if that's how you get him to attack. Someone was saying also there's an wheat to go back to your turtles. There's an adamantoise that you fight that's level 99, and apparently the fight used to be 72 hours. Now it's about 16 hours.
So 16 real hours?
Yes.
In 11?
No, this is in 15.
In this game, there is apparently a like super boss to fight that is one of those like old school MMO style boss
It
fights.
takes 16 hours?
Yeah.
I don't know that anyone's confirmed that, but that's apparently
That's what everyone's saying, that they nerfed it from 72 because no one would ever fucking do it to 16. But no one, like, I haven't seen footage of this. It's only what people are saying.
Yeah.
So
I don't know that no one's confirmed this, but everyone's like, it's in there, bro.
Bro, you fucking do that in one stream sitting? You're like,
that'd be amazing. That'd be an amazing stream.
fucking
Can you
do it.
imagine if you
fucking
died?
17 hours just fighting that thing and you get killed like near the end.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the Ramu summon here real quick, but in terms of like story, are you guys expecting an amazing?
Oh, that makes more sense. They're saying it's 72 hours in game. It's 72 in game
Which
hours.
is 90 minutes.
Yeah. That makes
Oh.
more sense. I could believe that. A 90-minute fight in a RPG like this, I could imagine that.
Right.
Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad.
Fucking 16-hour fight.
That'd be crazy.
I'm just gonna let me pause real quick. I gotta have some dinner.
Yeah, I mean, they had one of those in 12 at the final hunt that you did. Was a very, 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 very long fight.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of that though. I'm sure chat will find it here in a sec.
What was the one that was in 9 or Ozma or whatever? It was the big orb. That was a giant pain in the ass fight too.
Oh god, it's been forever. I don't remember that. That was like a side fight that you could find.
It was like a secret boss. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that one was a super hard fight as well.
All right. So because there will probably be people like me that are convinced by you guys that I should buy PS Pro just to play this fucking game. What is the like transfer process like?
It's
when
not
you-
too terrible.
No?
You get the other PS4 on a network, on a wireless network. You put them both on wireless. It finds its PSN it finds the other PS4 over PSN, and then you put an Ethernet cable between the two, and it took me about 30 minutes to transfer about 200.
Oh,
gigabytes.
really? You
Yeah.
just literally put a cable and connect the two of them
Yeah.
after you've connected them wirelessly?
Yep, and then it takes care of all of it, and once that's done, you're
But I
done.
have to have both of them hooked up at the same time?
That's the only shitty part. You don't need to have a TV on the other one though. As long as it's on the wireless.
old one.
Yeah, on the old one. As long as it's on the wireless, you're good.
And what? See, here's the thing. I didn't do that. What transfer? Like, do I need to do that? Can I just download everything?
No, you can literally just go back and download everything. But I didn't want to like type in all my login information because I have like double auth and all that shit.
Gotcha. All right.
So I just downloaded it. Also,
I
here's
just
Final
watched
Fantasy
the,
11 summon.
The Rama summon thing.
Look at this Final
and it was
Fantasy 11
fucking
summon.
Crazy.
You get that guy in the game.
Oh, the
It's so
11
cool.
one?
Yeah.
He would be your friend and like follow you around.
Yeah, he
It
was fucking
amazing.
rad, but he was only there for like 30 seconds.
I'm watching the real one so I can watch it full screen. I'm only on 9.
Okay.
It goes through all of them then?
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
This is a Final Fantasy 14 fight, which is fucking incredible, and I forgot it existed because I did it
Oh
once
my
and then
God,
never did
I
it again.
totally. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go switch over to the big screen to watch this because the. By the way,
I can
guys,
just straight up full screen.
incoming
it, actually.
spoilers. If this is a problem for you about 15, get ready.
Here, I'll just full screen this.
This is
If not, though-
14. Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty
Do you
good.
fight him in 14 or
You
summon
do.
him
You
14?
fight all of the summons in 14. Well, not all of them, but you fight a lot of the summons in 14. They're called primal fights. They're like some of the hardest stuff.
So you watch these before you actually fight it?
Yeah.
This is like the intro scene before it fucking whoops your ass.
Yeah, and the music is kick-ass too. Like you can listen to it if it's playing it.
Are
Nope,
they
it's
releasing
rated.
Final Fantasy 13 or 15 on the PC?
Not yet. They haven't announced it. Music's pretty good though. I think that's like his big summon fight, or his big ability in game. Anyways, here's 15. We'll pump up the audio.
Jesus.
It's crazy. Wow.
I hope there's more than 6 of this.
It seems with a game like that 6 would be like not nearly enough.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, you know, Final Fantasy 7 and 8 had like 15
Oh, it
to
had
20.
a lot. Yeah.
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 That is fucking incredible, though, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful looking.
Yeah, I hope there's like
And the fucking all that whole area is like scorched afterwards as well. Like,
well, that happens
fuck.
even if you cast like fire, just a normal fire in game. The ground where it hits is scorched, and then the fire spread throughout the.
Yeah, I was watching a TwitchCon when they did the thing on stage.
Yeah,
and, like, they cast fire and it like spread to all the other grass, and then like he accidentally set himself on fire, like the player.
Yeah, you can't if you run into it, you take damage and shit. So yeah, but yeah, I hope we see more than 6 of those, because I want to see. I want to see as many of those. I want to see fucking goddamn Bahamut. Just a giant, like just a monster of a fucking dragon outside in space or some shit, dropping a nuke somewhere, and then you just walk away scot-free because the game makes sense that way.
Well, definitely the game has one of the main summons. Kingsglaive reveals one of the summons the game has, for sure. So no spoils there, but it definitely reveals one of them.
Try
The one at the end.
Oh.
Yeah, the one that the literal ending of that movie, which is like the biggest summon battle like since Final Fantasy IX.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really incredible.
I forgot about that. That's the best part of the movie too.
Yeah, it's literally the best part of the movie.
Yeah. Story-wise, do you guys think it's gonna be like? Do you think it's gonna be a good story? That's the only thing I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's not like a dull Final Fantasy story. I hope we get a real story.
I truly hope that all this pre-release stuff isn't there to pad out a game that has no story. That's like my big... If the game... Because the stuff I played so far is the stuff in the beginning, which is all set up, and most of the story takes place like... It's very much like Final Fantasy VI in that... In 6, the beginning of it is battle tactics, exploration, meeting new characters, and then it funnels you into a story and then expands, right? This one, it seems like it's huge open world, learning about battling, learning about how you play your characters, learning about like the world you're in, and then funneling you back into a story.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really get to experience that story part of it, but everyone says the story is this really big part, but everything I played so far is very like, we're baddies and we're running around killing monsters.
They
right?
They said it's very storyline in the.
They're deliberately holding that back from you.
Well,
absolutely.
They said it's very storyline in the beginning from all the previews, and then about chapter 5 or 6, the story starts getting really heavy. So, I don't know what that means. If
as far as I'm aware, with like the movie and the anime and stuff, they're using it as sources to promote the game, not to pad it out.
Yeah,
I mean, that's my hope. That's my hope, and I'm just a lot of the time. That crap exists to like Warcraft. Warcraft is what I'm gonna. They put all the story in books and then don't add it to the game, and you're like, well, if you didn't read the damn books, you have no clue what's happening right now. I'm worried that that's the case in this, but I'm hoping it's not.
Yeah. I just want to see a giant cactar the size of Ramu going like this. And then he casts like 1K needles and just fucking
1,000 needles.
drops the entire city or some shit.
Someone in chat said Tabata revealed it will take 30 days to beat the huge Adamantoise, which is shown in the trailer.
Yeah.
No, which would mean 15 hours real time.
Yeah.
30 days in game.
I hope that's a real thing. That would make me so happy.
Right?
I'd be so stoked to
That'd be
find
crazy.
That stuff.
15 hour. I mean, enjoy your 15-hour fight against your arch nemesis, the Toe.
Yeah.
Right.
You could finally, after all these years,
You could, yeah.
Get my revenge
Get
after
your-
it takes me 100 attempts to do so. Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Get your
And you
revenge
won't, and you
finally.
won't de-level. That's the best bit.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. Well,
Leveled down.
I hope it's good. Sam, you're gonna get the chance to play it tomorrow, aren't you?
No, next week.
Oh, it's tomorrow, man. You're playing with the Square Enix people.
No, I'm playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not playing next week. The 28th.
Yeah, you're gonna play it full, but you're playing the game tomorrow as well, Square Enix, right?
No, I'm playing it.
You're playing it Monday on the. Oh, you're playing it Monday. The game the Reese's. Oh, I thought it was tomorrow.
No, I'm playing it the Monday next week.
Right. I think you might actually need to check that email because I'm playing it Tuesday.
I think you might need to check it.
I'm playing
Because
Tuesday.
I'm playing on the 28th. They're coming down to hang
Okay.
out. We're gonna play on the 28th.
All right,
so.
maybe because I think I'm playing this Tuesday.
Maybe they're coming to you first, and then they're gonna go see Sammy.
You might want to check that because you might be doing it next.
Well,
week.
they haven't confirmed, but if they're doing it next week, I need to be like, hey guys, I can't. I'm doing a 24-hour stream. I can't really do this right now. So I need to confirm that email. But yeah, I think
I can't play your game because I'm playing your game.
Yeah. I
The
believe
game releases on the 29th. On the 28th, I'm gonna be streaming like an exclusive mission.
Yeah. Yeah.
The day before launch.
Yeah. Should be cool. I need to actually see because I need to read that email. They said the reason they couldn't come down later this week was Thanksgiving, so it has to be this week. It has to be Tuesday.
Yeah, for you, yeah. I think you are. I think it is Tuesday for you, but for me, it's next Monday.
I just don't know what I'm going to be playing because they're like, yeah, you can play the game for as long as you want. I was like, but you're going to be here at like 9 o'clock after Court of Swords, so how does that work? And they're like, well, you just play in the middle of the night. It's fine with us. I'm like, but you're going to be here next to me. I can't just keep I can't just keep playing till I usually do. It's 7 a.m. with you like holding me
telling you-
captive with a debug version of the game.
I don't think they mind. Like I
Maybe not.
honestly don't think they mind.
If anything, you should have a bet going with chat over how long it takes. Like the person sitting next to you has to be happy. They're the publicity people. They have
Yeah.
to be smiles at like 3 a.m. They're gonna
True.
be real tired, and you have to just be like, "Hey, this game's great," and they're just like, "It certainly is," right? Like,
Yeah,
see how long it takes them to just pass out.
I'm kind of glad I'm doing it next Monday because I don't think like my hype would survive a week. I'd fucking die.
Well, that's
so, like,
the
I get
thing is they're going
I
to
get
take
play
it away
the day
from me.
before launch. I get to stream it, and then I get to like actually play it the next day. So it's
Yeah,
pretty
they're going to fucking take it away from me.
cool. Yeah, you fucked up.
Yeah, you done goofed.
I need to like
Done.
figure out a way, and I need to figure out a way to make my Xbox One look like some sort of an Xbox One, but really be a DVD copier. So when they put it in there, it copies the
Scan
Blu-ray.
it.
I
And then
don't know
have
that's how it works. I feel like that's not how
I
it
need to
works.
call Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible and see if we can get it working, and I'll pull it off, and then stream the entire game. But apparently, just so everyone knows, the game is out in the wild already. So if you're looking for spoilers and stuff, it's probably going to be all over Twitch this week. So just be careful of that. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure that stuff's going to be happening. From the spoilers that I have read, there's actually pretty big spoilers that'll affect the story
yeah?
for you. So beware of that. There's an entire thread on NeoGAF if you want to go read everything from people that have gotten the game early, that
do
are
it.
talking all about it. If you want to
Don't
read
do
it
it
for
yourself.
yourself.
Like don't ruin it for yourself, chat. All right,
Yeah.
just don't.
Yeah. You wouldn't download a car. You're right, ScarDB. I wouldn't download a car. But I think that's going to do it. We didn't decide that the best one is because there's no best Final Fantasy. They're all great.
It's a
There
trick
isn't.
question, man. It's a
I
trick
think
question.
I think we all agree that Final Fantasy in and of itself is awesome, and although there have been some missteps along the way, like Final Fantasy certainly solidified itself as a franchise that is timeless. That like it is a Street Fighter, it is a Mortal Kombat. Like my mom has heard of Final Fantasy. She could probably name a Final Fantasy character.
Yeah.
I just really hope 15 is awesome.
I can also show the poll results. It's about what I expected.
Don't show it, JP. We're not having a winner. You just said there's no winner, and you're about to announce a winner.
Yeah, but
They-
chat will be upset if their voice
Yeah.
isn't heard.
Well, they got the satisfaction of filling out a Google Doc. They never need to know.
I mean, I think
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I'm actually. Did you tweet this out?
What?
Did you tweet this out?
I did not.
Overwhelmingly, Final Fantasy
I did
VIII
not.
won. He had to have tweeted
Dude,
this out, guys.
It was his story of love. He pitched that story of
his
love,
story
and
of love won it.
he touched so many fucking hearts. And then like it was the last thing they heard because you were like, "You got to go to the moon in a fat chocobo," and you didn't pitch a
Here's
game.
the thing. I would have voted, guys. I would have voted for that chocobo on the moon wins in my mind.
6 was number 2. 13 with 14.5% of the vote.
my God.
That's the troll
What?
vote. That's the
Yo.
troll vote. That's
If
the
you
fucking
voted
troll
for
vote.
13, press 1 in the chat so I can ban you.
7 at 9.3 of the vote, and Final Fantasy 9 with 6% of the vote.
Yeah, I feel like what really won here was Wheat's relationship. His love really won the day.
His
How can you
love
argue?
won
How
out
can you
for
argue with that?
everyone.
You
Yeah.
can't argue with that. Love won the day, guys.
Love won the.
It was Chanman's
JP.
bots, guys. Chanman's bots.
bots won it. That's got to be it.
Jesse and Strippin have no idea what we're talking about, but it's an old. Trust me, it's funny. You should laugh. Let's do some shout outs to get out here because I need to go get some food. And I think 3 hours is good. If we talk any more about Final Fantasy, I'm gonna have to like boot up 6 or boot up 8 tonight on the PC and play it. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to get started on that shit. So
You can get that shit on an iPad now. Play it in bed.
yeah, you can. That's
Yeah,
true.
you can.
That's true.
Wait, is 6 on iPad?
No,
They're all out.
No.
Are they?
The
Is
last
it?
time I played that, I feel like I played the PSP remake with the, with all the full
the
motion video
cutscenes
they
and
added.
the-
Yeah.
I just replayed 9 on my phone like 2 weeks ago. And
Yeah,
it
I
was-
think 6 was just released on iPhone. I think.
Really?
Oh look.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. All right, let's do some shout outs then. Feel free to say whatever the
It
fuck you
is
want.
on the Apple Store.
Really?
Yep.
556.
But it's redone graphics.
Yeah, it's the redone
So-
graphics, and they look dumb as fuck. They look terrible. They look like abysmal. Like I couldn't play it.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's why I didn't play this one. Fuck.
Yeah, I couldn't play the game.
Yeah, it's like they softened everything.
Here's and maybe
Yeah.
this is the saddest story of all time. I've told this a billion times, but I don't know if Jesse's ever heard this. I've played Final Fantasy VI 3 times. The first time I got to the tower at the end of the game where you split the parties, and as I was saving, my brother pulled the cartridge from the SNES and deleted the save on accident. Well, on purpose / accident. Second time, I started another playthrough on the PS1 when it first came out, when it got like redone on Final Fantasy Chronicles or Final Fantasy
Yeah.
Anthology, whatever that was called. Got to the end of the game, got to the tower. My brother thought it would be funny. He deleted the save on the PS1 on the memory card.
Oh, just to like revisit that
Yes.
that horrible memory you had. Yeah.
That is a mean brother.
Yeah.
I've never played and beaten Final Fantasy VI before. I've watched the ending, but
That's
it's really
30
not
minutes.
the same.
Thank you for playing ending. The greatest ending in the history of video games.
Yeah. My brother feels really bad about this to this day. So it's not like he's just a complete asshole that always laughs he feels really bad about this because I tell the story so goddamn much. So maybe one day I'll revisit.
Is that how you got him to build those Lego Star Wars things?
Yes. That's, maybe
right.
you deleted 6,
You're like,
bro.
I'm doing a live show of Star Wars. I wanted to do a live show of Final Fantasy VI, but I've never beat the game. And he's like, fuck, I'll build him.
Exactly. So yeah, I need to eventually play that, or finish it on my own. But it takes so long to get to the fucking tower. It's like a 30-hour, 20-hour adventure to get there.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's a path. But anyways, we're all gonna be playing. I never thought it's been a weird year, but I never thought we'd say this. We're gonna be playing Final Fantasy 15
Yo.
next week.
Yeah.
It's finally
We were supposed
coming
to be
out.
Playing it 2 months ago, but
Dude, I'm
It's
just
happening.
remembering when they announced it and realizing I've done nothing with my life in that fucking gap.
Yeah,
Which is, I
What?
mean,
What?
that's
I
not
would
true.
hope you have.
That's
now
not
it's
true.
like I get to play it, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
10 years, 10 fucking years. And it's. Do you guys remember the first Versus trailer we ever saw?
Yes.
yeah.
That was
That was
is that
years
the one
ago.
in the one in the fucking hallway?
It's the
Yeah,
one
the
where
hallway,
it ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the one
Yeah,
where it
yeah.
ends with like Noctis outside on the steps, right, with the sword or
Yes.
whatever. Yeah. That was. This was uploaded December 13th, 2008.
My God.
Jesus.
This game.
That's
About
so
time.
crazy.
Think about that for a sec.
Let's see.
That's kind of crazy. Let's do some shoutouts and call it a day. Strippin, we'll start with you, sir. As you
What's up,
fix your
guys?
shirt.
Hey.
Do some shoutouts, man.
Oh, what's up, guys? My name's Sam. I go by Strippin. You can find me on Twitch, streaming pretty much every day at noon PST. Twitch.tv/Strippin. And then you can send me some tweets at Strippin on Twitter.
There you go. Look at those cute overlays that he made. He even got the font.
I
right
know,
and
that's
stuff.
so
Daniel
good.
just-
He's got the little hand.
yeah, he just nailed it all. He just nailed that shit. Wheat, some shoutouts, sir.
I just like scrubbed through that 2008 trailer, and I like it's hard to imagine that like that's the first time we saw the birth of this. That's
But
fucking
even
crazy.
then, seeing that trailer was more exciting than playing Final Fantasy 13. Because that
Yeah.
trailer looked a billion times better than anything 13 showed.
Yep.
Because
It
Noctis
was.
has all these fucking swords, and he's blinking around everywhere, and it's just being a badass. And I hope he's not just a mopey bitch in fucking 15 throughout the entire game because of what happened.
Better not be.
If he is, I'm going to be
I
so
hope too.
goddamn upset.
I guess I just say thanks for joining us, JP, Sam, and Jesse. A pleasure as always to nerd out on something I truly enjoy. I really hope 15's awesome. It's going to be released while I'm on the middle of the ocean, but when I return, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play this game. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Fantastic. Thanks again to both of you for coming on. Jesse as well. Thanks for being here. Do some shout outs, sir.
Oh, my pleasure. I always love coming to talk nerdy with you. So, yeah, I think like everyone else, when that game comes out, immediately to Twitch I go and just play it until my body can't plays it no more. I'm super excited for this. I haven't been excited for a Final Fantasy game in a long time, and so it's nice to feel hype for a game like this again. So I can't wait. I hope everyone of you who took the time to watch this finds a Final Fantasy you love, and you get as excited about it as we are. It's a fantastic franchise and is entirely and totally one of the like quintessential moments of my life that if it wasn't for this crap, I wouldn't be here. I can promise you that. Had it not been for Final Fantasy games, I would not be the nerd you see today. So I have all my love for those things, and it's it's always fun to talk about it.
There you go. We did
Nice.
it. We decided
Yeah.
what the best
That's-
Final
that's
Fantasy
perfect.
was.
I got like 12 whispers throughout the show about it, so I guess I just like say in case anyone. But like, if you haven't had a chance to see Dead Fantasy by Monty Ohm, the late Monty Ohm, which was like a mashup of the Dead or Alive characters fighting the Final Fantasy characters.
Yeah.
It kind of got a little crazy after 3, 4, and 5, but like Dead Fantasy 2 is probably one of my favorite internet videos of all time. It is so fucking amazing. And you guys should just go Google it and find it in like the 20 places it's available if you want to just like keep the Final Fantasy hype going.
It's super cool. You need to check it out.
Do it up. Do it up. Jesse, what's Oh, Dancing Mad. Never mind. I was trying to find the song. We're gonna outro with that.
Dancing Man? Man.
Dancing
Hey,
Mad.
JP, can we just go back to my card real quick?
Oh, is it spelled
Stippin'?
wrong?
Hashtag
Uh-oh.
Stippin.
Uh-oh.
Stippin?
Look.
Really?
Oh, get
all the
fucked.
all the important stuff is spelled correctly. Daniel made these. I didn't even edit them.
Damn, Stippin. Calm
You
down.
know what?
Calm
This
down,
whole
Stips.
overlay, this
Man,
whole overlay fucking
Aren't
sucks.
aren't
all right?
Daniel's overlays just the best, guys? They're just
Whatever.
They're just
Dot,
so
I want,
good.
dot.
I want a refund.
They're just the best. They're
It's
so
like
good.
it's the Final Fantasy 13 of overlays. All right.
This specific one right here is just the Final
This
Fantasy
one.
13.
This one.
I mean, it's just one typo. All your
I'm
social media
lightning.
stuff.
That's how I feel.
Oh
all right.
God, Jesus.
Wow.
Well, go kill Hope or something. I don't know.
All right.
You should
I
take
will.
care of that. Guys, that's it. We're done. Have a good one. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks you guys for being here. We'll see you next time on another episode of Fandom whenever we decide to do one. So we're out. Bye bye.
Peace.